Welcome in to Check the Mic. Steve Palazzolo, Sam Monson, live on YouTube. And it's time, Sam, for my one and only mock draft. Used to do about 10 per cycle.
Yeah.
Down to one.
New one, using the PVM.
PVM is a descriptive metric, not a predictive metric. My draft score is predictive. That's what I used to.
The draft, the DVM?
I have a draft score. DS.
DS?
Yeah.
Just a DS, not a DVM.
But I can't unveil it fully because, directly helping NFL teams drafting in the first round. It is a first-round drafting team, just to unveil that. So we're going to go through my mock. Mostly what I'm going to do, you did your mock last Monday. If anybody wants to check that out, it's all coming at you it's brought to you by FanDuel.
Yep.
In the Mike Vrabel's part of the Bill Belichick coaching tree studio, I believe, is what we're coming at you from here today. You missed Thursday's show.
I did.
John Ledyard was on here with his edge rush rankings, which were fun.
Controversial.
Yeah. Controversy, as you might say. Yeah. So go check those out. We'll talk about your car shenanigans at the end of the show here if we have time.
But as with all the people that we bring on the show, their controversial rankings are honestly believed and arrived at through perfectly legitimate means.
Yeah, it's not shouty show fodder.
Right.
This is film-based.
Exactly. They
Film-based.
might believe something different to the consensus, but that's not inherently a bad thing, right? Doesn't
got-
mean you should, trust them lock, stock, and barrel and say, well, they're right, but it's a valid opinion.
Yeah. I mean, as I always say, if you went, in hindsight, this is why you can't grade drafts for 3 years.
Right.
If you had draft rankings 3 years later, it looked nothing like the consensus. Now, most of the consensus is generally directionally good, but
Right. Doesn't mean you should,
would look nothing like it.
doesn't mean they're right always.
Right, exactly. Nothing's 100%. So I'm going to do my mock draft. You're going to handle the controls?
Yeah.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Let's do
there's
it.
the mock. Start draft.
I will mostly do this the way I would do it.
That's not what you told me a minute ago.
What did I tell you?
I said, is this
I said
what
mostly.
you would do draft? You're like, nah, I can't really do that.
I said mostly. Mostly what I would do. Mock draft.
Would
Maybe-
you, Steven Palazzolo, GM, would you take Fernando Mendoza, the quarterback?
I would. I would take Fernando Mendoza, the quarterback, number one.
Wow.
I think he's so the Raiders are up at 1. I'll spend my couple minutes on the why, and then probably won't talk about Mendoza till draft night. I think he's a good quarterback. I think what he showed at Cal too, where he was elevating that program and did a nice job, throws well under while getting hit. This is going to be a fascinating part, I think, of Fernando Mendoza's game. He is aggressive under pressure. That particular piece of his game reminds me of Nick Foles, where Nick Foles had no problem throwing under pressure, and he had the arm strength to get the ball out there under pressure. But when you look down the gun barrel, so to speak, and you make the throw while getting hit, sometimes it goes to the defense. Sometimes it's a pinpoint throw. It's like, wow, that's incredible. And so you get a little streaky. I'm going to be interested in that part of Mendoza's game because he's not the most nimble. He's not the most athletic quarterback. He can run. He can get downhill like he did in the Miami game and run a little bit. He's not the most nimble in the pocket. So a lot of his game, I think, could be a bit of a roller coaster ride because of that aggressiveness. But I think he's got a good arm. He's willing to let guys like Elijah Surratt and Omar Cooper Jr. make plays in tight situations. And I think that style might lead to some high highs and some low lows. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out for me.
Yeah.
But that's the guy. Like he's the top guy in this draft.
Yeah, I mean, he's by most people's view, the only guy effectively that you could make a case for. He is kind of interesting athletically in that there's a bit of Daniel Jones and Jackson Dart to him in that straight ahead, he's quite good. Like getting him running in a straight line forwards, he's pretty athletic, pretty fast. And again, like Jackson Dart, like he's a load to bring down. But that he's not elusive in the pocket. Like he's not jinky, he's not, difficult to contain. But if you deployed him on a read option, it's a serious problem if he's out there in the loose and you're one-on-one in the open field. Like he's an intriguing type of athletic quarterback.
All right, man. I was just thinking about a potential trade down the road here.
Yeah.
I might do it.
It's a bit late.
This is why. No, I mean, I could. What? It's not too late. Not for Mendoza, for something else.
Oh, okay.
For somewhere else. Because look, a little bit. I want to do a little bit of what I would do if I was advising the GM.
When they put this in, there's an undo pick button. That would have been handy many times over the years.
Oh man, yeah. I was like, hey, what about this guy? Sorry, buttons pressed.
Press the button.
Buttons pressed.
Now we can undo the button.
Can't mess with it. All right, Mendoza number 1 to the Raiders. By the way, really quick, not to already go off the rails. The NFL is decreasing the time in between picks. Mm-hmm. I remain shocked by this because it'll be a quicker broadcast. Now, I know this is shocking to you that on social media I had mixed reaction where people said this is better for advertisers, and I am not following that line of reasoning. Like they're gonna squeeze more ads into less time for some reason. This is the first time the NFL has decided for less content, for less broadcast time. Now they did cut from 15
since the last time they did it.
I know. I'm just shocked by it. I'm still shocked by this. What are they down to? 8 now?
8. Yeah, it went from 15 to 10, then 10 to 8.
I'm shocked by this. It's going to shave like an hour off the broadcast.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I mean, it's good for us.
Right.
It's good for us. We'll get right into that.
Everybody. It's good for everybody except literally the people that are making the decision, theoretically. And presumably there's a way that it isn't for them. You just don't
it's not hard on the decision makers. Like you just, do you really need 2 more minutes to debate the trade?
No.
Like, you've gone through all these scenarios. It's less content though, which I'm shocked by. It's less broadcast time.
Yeah.
That's millions. That's millions of dollars. You could save that. You could take the millions of dollars that you've just given up and maybe give it to the refs so that we can get some good refs instead of high school guys.
The refs, it turns out, are already extremely well compensated.
No, I know.
Refs apparently are averaging $350,000 a year.
Well, they don't like all the negativity surrounding their job.
Well, then call better games.
Should. Anyway, Raiders make their pick. Fernando Mendoza. Jets are up on the clock here at 2. We've gone back and forth on all this. I'm going to look. The chalk pick now is David Bailey. There was a point where Arvell Reese was the favorite. Ruben Bain, I think, has been in discussion for us. We should touch on a little bit the news that came out that Ruben Bain was previously in a car accident, was cited for reckless driving, but then charges dropped. Someone in the accident was in a coma and then passed away.
Yeah.
And this is not new news.
No, Ollie Connolly reported it yesterday, which is the first time someone had reported it, but anyone that kind of came out from inside league circles to comment on it afterwards were like, yeah, this has been known for a long time. I mean, this thing happened in, was it 2022, 2023, like years ago.
I felt like the first report was like, oh, this happened in March, or they just knew about it in March, or they knew about it from years ago.
Anyway, it was something that had happened years ago, so it wasn't news in that, the NFL has always known about it. The NFL teams have known about it. They've just been kind of somebody sort of put the dots together and concluded, well, Bain has just gone in with a visit somewhere where it's come up, and that's where the connection is. Like Ollie Connolly must know somebody inside one of the buildings that he just visited, and that's where it came up, and that's the first time he heard about it, which is where it became a kind of news story or a report for the first time. But yeah, it's an unusual situation. He also apparently has a second citation of some description.
They're working through something else, reportedly. The teams are working through other information on another incident, potentially.
Yeah, hang on. Somebody tweeted that at me this morning.
Now, he wasn't at fault or anything.
No, so that's the thing. The charges, for the first one, the charges were dropped. Right. There was no finding of fault of any kind. It's effective, and that's another reason why I think it wasn't reported as news anywhere along the way, because it isn't anything other than the fact that some poor individual died, but apparently legally not through the fault of Ruben Bain. Like there's enough weird things about it that it fits the definition of something that wouldn't necessarily come up. You know what I mean? As a news thing. Hey, look, like
right.
3 years ago, Ruben Bain was involved in an accident during which somebody died, but he was not at fault apparently. So
right,
anyway.
Like the way it was positioned originally, like it's another Jalen Carter or Georgia speeding type of story where someone is clearly at fault for whatever they're involved in, and this is not the case for Ruben Bain. So I just wanted to get that out there as we're talking about him. Like I don't know that he necessarily drops out of the top 5. we'll see what happens.
Somebody called Sal Gabriel tweeted at me that there's a second careless driving citation that happened in October 2025, which is obviously after the incident that resulted in a death. This one caused his license to be suspended for failure to pay. So this is, I mean, again, it's not necessarily he did have his license suspended, but it's because he didn't pay whatever citation it was, not necessarily because that citation determined that. So anyway, there's multiple now driving incidents involving Ruben Bain that are now public knowledge.
I had a teammate who had like 35 unpaid parking tickets in college that he needed to pay off before graduating. Big character red flag.
Yeah? Unpaid parking tickets.
I may have had 5, but, he had 35, So park wherever you want. Those are the repercussions. All right, Jets at 2. Arvell Reese, Ruben Bain, David Bailey.
So what would Palazzolo do?
I'm going David Bailey here. Is this what you did last week? Did you go Bailey?
I think I went Reese, but I can't remember. Where
Bailey's the best pure pass rusher in the draft. I'm going with him here. Yeah, you did go Reese. All right, so here's my reasoning on this. Obviously, I'm going to take Arvell Reese somewhere in the first round.
Yeah.
If I'm making this decision, I'm going Bailey, Bain, Reese in that order when it comes to the edge rushers. That's not to say that Reese can't get there. It's in my nature to take I want to limit risk as much as possible.
Okay. Now you've come off, so you would have taken Bain up until the last couple of weeks. Why have you moved off Bain?
It's a good question. I think the arm length is outlier level. I think the concerns with Bailey, I've just gotten into the process a little bit more. I got Bailey slightly ahead. I think he's got better pure pass rushing ability than Bain. Bain might be an overall better game record. Like I'm going to take him a couple picks later. I'm still going to take Bain. I might really go crazy on my mock here though.
I know you're deep into journalism at the moment. It's you're hot on that now, having come to the same conclusion everyone else came to a while ago about the insiders.
They really are a bunch of frauds.
Multiple people after this thing came out, clip that. Multiple people came out yesterday after this news had broken or this story was around with like comments from the family of the person that died like years ago, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's pretty distasteful to me. Like this family's kid died 3 years ago, and all of a sudden, because the NFL draft is happening and somebody broke this story, you now have to answer multiple people like on the phone being like, hey, do you have a comment on Ruben Bain? I'm like, would you leave me the hell alone? Which isn't what they said, by the way. They were significantly more classy than that. However, I would be like, if you phone me again, I'm going to find out where you live and I'm going to deploy a Rottweiler to your house. Anyway, I remember doing journalism school during my master's. And there was one thing. This is one area where I knew I never wanted to go into, like the newsroom stuff. If I'm doing journalism, it's sports journalism where this doesn't really come up, apparently, except for now. But they were like basically talking about how you would have to, go into these houses of victims or whatever, like knock on the door and be like, hey, have you got a comment for the newspaper? I'm like, I don't want to do that. They don't need me in their house. And like, yeah, but you got to get the story. You got to get the story. It sucks. It's a bad part of the job, but you got to do it. Like that's how you get the comment for the newspaper. I'm like, no, I don't want any part of that. And the people are out there doing it. Like independent, amateur journalists, however you want to describe people, they're like out there making those calls to this family being like, have you got a comment about Ruben Bain? Like, are you, what? Like, who cares? I mean, honestly,
it's tough.
Okay, sure, it's a kind of relevant piece of information, but the draft isn't that serious. Like, I don't think non-professional journalists need to be phoning up this victim's family years after the fact to find out if they have a comment on Ruben Bain's draft status. I don't know. I understand why, and journalistically, it's what you're supposed to be doing. But man, that felt pretty.
You chose the better career path.
Thank you.
You do have a master's. The chat's
master.
Chat's shot.
Master of journalism.
Master of journalism. All right. So why am I taking Ruben Bain? Coming into the season, I thought he had the most juice of any pass rusher in the draft.
Wait, you're not taking Ruben Bain.
I'm sorry. Why am I taking David Bailey? David Bailey. Most juice of any pass rusher in the draft. Still see that. Malachi Lawrence maybe threatening that just a little bit. But I love Bailey, his ability to threaten the edge, the inside spin move. I was concerned about his run defense. He's still not going to be a hard edge setter. He's a different type of edge rusher. He's closer to the way you described Cassius Howell. He's going to win with quicks, but he's still good in that area. The other part that I like that I've been valuing more lately the last couple of years is overall athleticism and how you handle scrambling quarterbacks. It's funny because the Bain arm length thing, we usually think about it through the lens of how do you handle rushing against tackles? Will they get into your frame too much? Will they lock you up? Can you stay clean? There's also maybe some concerns with Bain, peeling off blocks, being able to finish plays, scrambling quarterbacks, trying to handle them, keep them in the pocket. I think Bailey's athleticism is outstanding in that area. So improved against the run, best pure pass rusher in the draft. I'm going David Bailey here for the Jets at 2.
And think how much better he'll be when somebody gives him some gloves and some arm tape or whatever. Like once you get some swag going, as opposed to this like caveman looking raw dog nothing. So no gloves, no tape, no pads, no the arm
he's just got to go. I mean, that's
nothing.
His style. So Ledyard brought that up unprompted. And I was like, did you steal that from us? Did you come up with that? And he's like, no, I hate the aesthetic at number 31.
Right.
The whole everything
awful.
About it.
Everything about it's terrible.
He's overcoming the odds.
You need, to be the favorite as the number 2 overall pick. That idea of you got to have a plan for somebody. You need to have somebody already designated within that Jets building who is going to be David Bailey's swag consultant.
It's part of the plan.
And get him hooked up with a proper number. Like when it comes time to determine numbers, if he starts asking for like 38 again, no, stop it. Don't even. What are you talking about? Somebody needs to get him, here's the numbers you're allowed to ask for. Don't even think about asking for these ones. And then here's what we're going to be doing for the look. Number 1, you're going to need gloves. Number 2, here's some other things. Like, you need to have that guy ready. It's an important job.
I'm looking at, so let's debate some trades here. Bailey at 2 to the Jets. Are there any?
We're at 3 now.
We're at 3. Cardinals at 3.
You're looking to trade down.
Yeah, so I'm trying to look at who could potentially trade up here. And again, GM Steve probably wouldn't. But at number 8, I'm looking at Mickey Loomis and the Saints. Like he's got to be getting twitchy here.
Well, they got a track record, yeah.
Right? He's got to be getting twitchy.
9.
And there were the Chiefs. Would the Chiefs trade up?
Well, what better way to take advantage of your number 9 overall rare opportunity pick than jumping all the way up and go to 3?
I think both of those teams, though, are still – I know we talked about, hey, like there's no blue chip cutoff in this draft, but I don't know, man. It's all of these players look better between like 5 and 9 than they do 1, 2, and 3. So like the Cardinals in particular, where I would love to just give them Francis Maui-Noah and say, here's your right tackle and go. But I'd much rather do that at 8. Sure. I'd much rather do that at 9. Are the Cowboys legitimately – is there any smoke to the Cowboys trying to trade up? I don't know if that would be the best play for them. Probably just make your 2 first-rounders and get out.
I mean, the thing is I wouldn't want to trade up for any of these players.
Now, I think it was Jordan Schultz said, you get these tweets all the time from people like, this is going to be a wild first round. We need to go back and check these things. So a couple things we need to go back and check.
Well, every first round is wild. It's always unpredictable. Nobody ever predicts it.
Until a couple years ago, there was like 0 trades.
It's still a wild first round. You just didn't know. Like, you didn't know who was going to get picked. It's nuts.
We need to go back and check these things because every year you get like, there's going to be more trades than ever, or there's going to, whatever the statement is. A couple of things we need to go back and check. I think Jordan Schultz said there's going to be more trades than ever. I'm not feeling that
Someone
personally.
else said that, I think, this year as well.
I'm not feeling that.
Very trade-heavy first round.
Right? It works one or two ways, right? Like if the whole league agrees there's few blue chip players,
then everyone's trying to trade.
Then
nobody wants it worked. Yeah, everyone's trying to
trade.
Then
no one wants to trade up.
Yeah,
or Mickey at 8, right? Mickey at 8, or someone is like, well, there's only 3 players that I want, and Reuben Bain's one of them, or Jeremiah Love's one of whoever it is, and there's only 3 players worth living for in this draft.
So I'm
going to go get him.
That's why
I'm not feeling that though.
But I could see that just later down in the draft. Like remember when we were doing I think my draft, you're like there's like a soft spot in the middle of this first round that I don't love, right?
For us, but someone else.
Right, yeah, and then there's a soft spot in the second round that I don't love either. I could see NFL teams trying to jump those soft spots and be like, I don't like where we're currently sitting based off how this board is falling, but if I can jump 5 spots higher, I like the players that I can grab. I don't know if anyone's going to want to jump into the first 5 picks, but I could definitely see people trying to jump from almost anywhere in the first round to like the fringes of the top 10, because then, you could be in a world where Sonny Styles or Ruben Bain or any of these guys, right? Caleb Downs or whoever, top corner is available at the fringes of the top 10. Like if you're picking, I don't know, if you're picking 20, Carolina, 22, Chargers, any of these picks, right? And you're like, well, what does it cost to get to 11, right? Because all of a sudden I can see like a rare, talented player here, and I think the rest of this first round is like entirely average, but the rare, talented player plays safety or whatever. Like I could see somebody doing that.
And so I think, yeah, like if you're the Cardinals, Titans, there's rumors about the Giants wanting to trade down. Like you hear these things all the time. The other thing, by the way, the other thing you need to check, I think it's Daniel Jeremiah continues to reiterate that Caden Proctor is not getting past the Lions. And I'm just really fascinated by that.
I love him.
When we get stories that a team loves a player, is it actually true? Like, because you could, if they pick him, obviously it's like, we knew this all along. But like, how often does that actually happen?
Right.
I feel like the Steelers are the team that's never great at hiding those things, or maybe Dallas isn't great at hiding.
No, but Dallas shocked everyone with Tyler Booker.
Yeah, they were between him and Nolan, which I think maybe was expected, the Nolan pick at the time. Anyway, we gotta do our own, like, let's note these things and see where
we're never going to do the legwork to actually check it out, though. No, this is where we need AI to get sophisticated enough that we can trust its answers, and we can be like, hey, AI, every time this happens, how often does it?
Yeah, what are all the? Where's the
problem is if you did it now, you have no idea if it's telling you.
Where's
the
the smokiest smoke before the draft,
right.
and did it come true? Could it even have come true? So for the Cardinals, I would love to do what they did a couple years ago, where they traded down and got Paris Johnson. Still, they went from 3 to 12. Could they trade down and still get a Maui Noah or a Spencer Fano? I think they would be. I think the Cardinals, if they're content getting a right tackle.
Yeah, but the problem is their trade partner. The only way I could see them having a trade partner is if somebody projects Arvell Reese to being the next Micah Parsons. And if they say, there's a lot of people.
Yeah.
The trend now seems to be more he's an off-the-ball linebacker than he is an edge rusher. And maybe he'll be a hybrid or we'll have a package for him, but he's primarily an off-the-ball linebacker. If there's a team out there that says this is the next Micah Parsons, Abdul Carter, whatever, this dude's about to be a beast of an edge rusher, then he's worth 3. And he's worth trading up potentially to get. If they don't see that, if everyone else is out there saying this guy's an off-the-ball linebacker, then I don't see the Cardinals having a trade partner.
Is Bain still in play for this? For a trade up?
Like, who's anyone trading up for Bain primarily because of the arm thing, but everything else isn't helping either now.
So, help me out here.
And by the way, the current insider reports, for whatever they're worth, are not. Any team that is concerned about the driving stuff is not concerned by the fact that he was in an accident that killed somebody. They're concerned that he's not handling the questions about it well, is apparently the problem, right?
Okay.
It's like he's been less than entirely honest and open with them about this whole area, whether it's the two combined driving things that we know about. So if he falls because of that, it's because of that.
I'm going to do something fun here. I'm going to have the Saints come up. Can you workshop a couple trades for me on there? Or do I have to do it myself?
You're going to have the Saints come on trade.
So if I traded
Saints, where are we?
I want the Saints to come up from 8.
Saints, all right.
To get Bain at 3. It's really going to mess up my whole mock. It's really going to mess it all up.
It is a very Mickey thing to do, though.
Right, so it's just like, what would I do?
And Nick Underhill would be upset with it.
Why is that?
He wants them to use all their draft picks.
The Saints?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, they should.
Got a lot of them this year. We need to use them because this team needs help.
They should. I'm trying to get a little bit into the GM headspace, as well as what I would do. Like that would be the guy that I'd want to take at 3. And if I'm the Cardinals, they could take Bain, but I think they're in a spot where I'm content getting the starting right tackle, and that could be Maui Noah or it could be Fano. So I'm good with taking either of those guys at 8 if I'm the Cardinals.
Yeah.
So what do I have to give up here to come up?
Yeah, you're going to have to pull up a trade chart or whatever to give me an idea of what you need to chuck in here. They have, obviously, 8. They've got 42. They've got 73. And then they've got a couple of picks in the 130s.
Do I have to use the Spielberger chart?
I mean, you don't
Spielberger.
have to, given given
It's the only real one.
yeah,
It's the only.
he's our friend and former colleague. So
So we got 2,443 of value. So pick 8's 1946. I need another 500 or so.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll overpay. What do the Saints have?
42, 73, and then a couple of picks in the 130s, and obviously next year's
I
stuff.
can't do all the math. I can't do all this. 43. So what's 73? That's 826. So the Cardinals will pick up an extra 3 from the Saints. And let's
We're giving up 73.
Yeah, and they probably have to throw something back. The Saints.
Really? Jumping from 8 to 3 only costs you a third?
They've got it at 2,400 to 1,900, and a third. The pick 73 is worth 800.
There's no way they're doing it for less than a third round pick. Like, you're not.
Yeah,
That sounds extremely cheap.
it does.
So let's just do
Just
that.
do that. All right, throw an extra 3 in there. And I think
The Sims not having any of that. They're uninterested.
really.
Yeah.
I trust Brad and Jason. Trust Brad and Jason for the price you're going to pay up at number 3. So here we go. I got to grab
No, they did accept it. There we go. Done.
Saints coming up. I mean, you're controlling every team, so
No. But the Sim, when you offer it to a different team, the Sim, if it's not realistic, the Sim will reject it.
Saints have come up to number 3 to take Reuben Bain, Miami edge rusher.
Reuben Bain.
So I'm trying to add a little twist of fun and maybe some realism here.
Okay.
And so the Saints are going to add Bain to that defensive line, and I think they've had some defensive line questions for a couple of years now. We had, I don't want to say a full breakout season from Chase Young, but some really good play from Chase Young last year.
He stayed healthy for a while.
Yeah.
He might not ever anymore be the player that maybe people thought he could become, but if he stays healthy, he's a good, impactful edge rusher.
I still think the defensive tackle situation there could improve, but Bain's ability to move around, Carl Granderson, they've got some dudes there now. Carl Granderson, Chase Young, Reuben Bain. Now we've got a 3-headed monster rushing the passer. And I could see the Saints saying, this is the type of impact player that we need right here at 3. And we're willing to give up a third rounder to go get him. So they're going to get Reuben Bain at pick 3.
Done.
I will take Bain at 3 for the Saints. Puts the Titans up on the clock. And if I'm the Titans, now we've been in the Jeremiah Love discussions here. Mm-hmm. If I'm the Titans, Bailey or Bain, my guy probably. And now they're off the board, and here we go. We're in our own mock draft, and we're screwing ourselves over here. In Robert Saleh's system, I don't think Reese is doing any hybrid stuff. I think all the hybrids, that's a pure 4-3, 4-down lineman system. Arvell Reese is an edge rusher. And I don't love that. I don't love him as just a pure edge right now compared to the other guys and picking him at 4.
Did you hear he had Ben Solak's been doing some cool stuff where he watches film with some of these prospects.
This was
he
good.
Did it with
Yeah.
Arvell Reese, and Reese basically told him that he had no idea what he was doing as an edge rusher. He's like, I don't practice it. I don't know any moves. I don't even know what these are called. I've just been making it up on the fly when they put me down on the line and said, go rush the passer. And he literally barely knew what the names of the moves he was using. He was just like, I'm just getting past the guy. He's like, now that I'm working on being an edge rusher, I understand what I was doing. This was, I got him to commit, and then I cross-chopped and blah, blah, blah. It was at the time I was just running on instinct trying to get by a guy, right? So there's absolutely a world where once Reese actually literally understands what he's doing as an edge rusher, he just becomes an awesome dominant force.
There's when you're the balance sheet here, the balance sheet
basically everything he's done so far, which admittedly is a pretty small sample size of anything, but anything that you're using in the positive column for, look at what he can do as an edge rusher, is all effectively instinctive, made up on the fly.
Yeah. It's impressive, right? So there's in the balance sheet here of positives and negatives with Arvell Reese. And I know we've talked about him quite a bit. Let's just throw that extra thing into the mix here. In the positive, the fact that he's 20 years old, doesn't know what he's doing yet.
Yes.
And overall has had some success on his 300 snaps on the
But
on the
people
edge.
use that that's sort of thrown around as just a general caricature descriptor, but it sounds like it's genuinely true. For
Legitimately
Arvell Reese.
doesn't.
Legitimately did not know what he was doing and was just doing it on instinct.
On the negative side, when you're picking at 1, 2, 3, or 4, and that's the guy that you're looking at, you're just banking on projection and that he'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Now back to the positive side. Have players figured it out before? I hate using Micah Parsons as a comp. When you use extremes and future Hall of Famers as comps, it's not great. But Parsons obviously was drafted as a linebacker, had a little bit of an edge rushing history, but not in college.
No, but in high school, yeah.
But in high school, and he was outstanding at it, obviously. I think Abdul Carter is the more, and Jalen Walker, the closer related ones. Abdul Carter legitimately went from linebacker to edge. And if you watched his tape early last season, 2 years ago at Penn State, 2024, he looked like I don't think he knew what he was doing. He was just a guy with burst.
The run. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. I think that's actually kind of instructive. If you go back and watch the first couple of games of Abdul Carter playing edge rusher in his final season, particularly against the run, he didn't seem to understand where he was supposed to be, what shoulder he was supposed to attack. He was blowing gaps consistently, blah, blah, blah. Like, people were hitting him with the same block over and over again. It was like every single time it was a surprise to him. By the end of the season, he was detonating those blocks. Like, he learned over the course of a season how to play that position to a really high level. Theoretically, that's your projection for Arvell Reese. It's like, right now, he doesn't know what he's supposed to be doing at that position. Now, his is more edge rusher focus because he's just making it up on the fly. But theoretically, that's the kind of growth you're expecting. It's like once he plays that position for any period of time, he's going to at least know what he's doing, and that he's really good at the stuff he knows what he's doing.
I'll just be clear here. I know a lot of draft analysts and a lot of people say, well, you have to project what a player's going to be, and you have to bake that in, and you have to predict what they're going to be in 2 or 3 years. It's in my nature to not want to lean on that too much.
Yeah.
Right? And so even when I was evaluating Abdul Carter last year, 3 games into a season, I'm like, I don't know. But by game 7, 8, 9, I'm like, okay, this is
you could see the growth, better. Right? That's why he was so much. He'd answered all the questions within a season, which is what made it easy. The Reese thing is interesting because, we've been talking about that Nigerian IPP kid that detonated the various explosive numbers and stuff. Like, that guy's basically never played football before, and he may get drafted in the 7th, even the 6th round, literally based off being just an athletic freak. You'll teach him how to play football later on, right? You're like, well, if that's what we're talking about for Arvell Reese, why is he going number 4 overall in this case? Well, number 1, he's already an elite level linebacker. So even if the pass rushing stuff doesn't work out at all, you've got, okay, but he's potentially an all-pro caliber linebacker off the ball. So we've got that working for us. Number 2, he's already shown that even though he doesn't know what he's doing, he's able to do this stuff at a pretty high level. Like, there's some stuff on his tape, admittedly not that much of it, but there's stuff on his tape where you're like, that's an elite level pass rushing rep, right? And you didn't know what you were doing in the time. Like, you flawlessly executed a, bait, get the tackle to commit, cross chop, and you couldn't articulate that. Like, if I asked you what you did, you wouldn't have been able to describe it. You're just like, I just beat the guy. Like, that's Dan Marino level savant where, like, the guy's literally not able to tell you what he did. He just made the play. That's what you're projecting forward. That's different from a guy who literally doesn't know what he's doing and isn't very good at it. Reese doesn't know what he's doing, but also seems to already be pretty useful.
I don't know if that's going to convince me to go Reese here. Because the other guy that if Bailey and Bain are off the board, I have to bring up Carnell Tate as an option here for the Titans, for me.
Yeah.
Because I'd be fine. I think he's a debate for the Titans, Giants, Browns, Commanders.
Yeah.
Like, for the foreseeable future.
I don't think in a normal year Carnell Tate would be a top 5 draft pick, but I think in this year when 2 specific players have already gone off the board, I think there's a very strong argument for him.
And again, if you have to look, I'm going to take Jeremiah Love somewhere in the first round here. If I had to go top receiver or Jeremiah Love, I'm going to go receiver here. Even if I think Tate might be more of a wide receiver too. I've compared him to T. Higgins. I think, if he was paired with Malik Neighbors with the Giants, or if he was paired with Terry McLaurin.
I like the Devontae Smith comp again. It's like Devontae Smith. I mean, he was
not size or style, but as a
style, but
productive.
Bigger. Yeah,
but productive.
But the point is, Devontae Smith was drafted, I think, 6 overall, right? By the time they took him, traded down to 12, jumped up to 6 to get him. Wasn't that him?
I thought they got him at 11. No, Waddle was 6 and Devontae was 11 or 12.
But didn't they trade down to 12 and then jump back up 4? Anyway, whatever he was drafted somewhere in that top half of the first round that year. And there was the same questions like, he's been dominant at Alabama, like incredible player. And realistically, he's become a number 2 that probably needed A.J. Brown on the other side to be the player that he's become. but that's worth that pick. Like, he's a really, really good player, maybe with limitations, but like, he's very, very good. Now, I think Cardinal Tate is very similar stylistically to Devontae, just a bit bigger, heavier, but maybe has the same limitations. Like, maybe he's best if you have the true number one on the other side, like Jeremiah Smith in college, like whoever you're going to find with him in the NFL. That doesn't mean he isn't worth this pick in a relative down draft. This is another spot, though, where given this board, I'm sure the Titans would love to get out of this pick. It's who's coming up.
Yeah, I think let's get crazy. I'm going to create a whole scenario. Jerry says that Arvell Reese is the next.
Well, who's the most
Micah
likely coach
Parsons
to look at Arvell Reese and say that guy is going to be the next Micah Parsons?
I think because of what you said,
Coach,
it's not
GM, whatever.
I think it's got to be someone like Dallas is moving to this, 34 front, which still matters a little bit, right? You still have some teams that work in a hybrid front, and you need guys to drop into coverage more than others. Again, Salah's the opposite. You got Salah and Gus Bradley. They're a pure four-man front. Just get after the quarterback, which makes them, the Reese's versatility, I think, is less intriguing for them. Unless, to your point, it's like you try him at edge, and then he's a fallback linebacker for them. 2 years down the road if you needed to. The opposite of the Hassan Reddick move.
Right.
Yeah, maybe Washington. They've added a ton to their D-line, but they don't have a ton of picks. Are they just going to say, boom, let's just continue to attack?
Remember
with this front?
Cleveland's running. Not that they've got other needs, but Cleveland's running a new defense now, having had the Jim Schwartz drama with the coaching change.
And the other thing about Cleveland, you wonder if they say they're not going to trade Myles Garrett, but
yet.
Are you ever in this place where you literally can't have too many good defensive linemen. The problem with the Browns is they just have specific needs at receiver and left tackle that they have to fill.
Right. It wouldn't be a bad pick bringing in a high-level whatever to that defense. It's just that you've left yourself needing desperately a couple of other players on offense.
The Bengals don't trade up historically, but you have to wonder if in their building they're just saying, we just need a defensive playmaker no matter what he is, no matter what. That's an Arvell Reese, but they'll have other options with Caleb Downs or Sonny Styles. Like they'll have some other defensive playmaker options at 10.
Spags with the Chiefs, wouldn't they look at Arvell Reese and be like, man, I could do some damage with him?
Maybe. They do like the power edges and everything. Should we just keep playing here?
They'd like power. But look, Spag, you go back long enough in his history, you get to the Giants stuff where he was being creative with those defensive linemen, moving them around. Like, I don't know.
I'm probably not going to do it here. Yes, if I'm Tennessee, I would love to pick it 7, 8, or 9. I'd love to be a little bit further down.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Arvell Reese here, though, for the Titans.
He's the only guy I could. The only reason I say that is he's the only guy I can see anybody trading up for.
At this point, right? I don't see people trading up for Love.
Right.
Maybe Delane? I don't think so, though. Give me Arvell Reese for the Titans at 4.
We're back to Delane no longer even being the consensus top corner because McCoy ran fast.
He did run fast.
Having been a coward and dodging the combine, he now ran fast, so he's the top corner again.
Boy, Delane's really impressive. Okay, so I took Reese at 4 for the Titans. I don't love it. I really don't. I don't love it.
This draft,
I should love it.
We did this
but I don't.
Maybe 2 years ago and also last year, I think. It's becoming, I think this is another thing. Like year on year, there's all these trends where like we're going to be saying it's a pretty strong wide receiver draft forever, right? Until the college game changes and everybody's running the Navy triple option again. I think the other thing that's happening year on year is every year we seem to be stuffed full of physical outliers of one type or another, to the point where some of them are completely slipping under the radar as a physical outlier at all. And it's like, hey, nobody's even mentioned the fact that this guy is in like the 4th percentile and whatever, right? Mansour Delane has stumpy little arms and nobody was really talking about it. And it's like,
that's what you were getting to?
Well, I kind of think I don't care. Like, I kind of think the correct thing is to not care about it. But it is, like, it's the one thing in his overall profile, if you're doing the spider charts or whatever, like, that's the missing bit of his spider chart, where his arms are preposterously short for an otherwise, like, perfectly legit physical profile, legit profile as a true number 1 shutdown corner. And it's like, I don't know how much time you should dedicate to talking about that, but it probably should come up.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, this guy's also a massive outlier in that regard.
Well, Delane's a guy I like here at 5 for the Giants.
Ooh.
I like him a lot. I think they're debating Carnell Tate's really intriguing.
Yep.
For the next few picks, like I said, I think Tate is a compliment to Malik Neighbors. I really like that potentially as an option. I like Delane at corner, given the need at corner for the Giants. They've got Paulson Adebo, who
8th percentile arm length, just to put a number on it.
Thank you. They'll play more off
30
coverage.
inches. 30 inches.
Denard Wilson coming in. I don't know how much press they're going to play. I don't know.
So he's an inch taller than I am, and his arms are 2 inches, 2.5.
One of my favorite draft trends is
shorter.
when you compare your body type to the NFL players.
Got to do it.
Got to do it. Paulson Adebo coming off of a not-so-great free agent season, coming off his first year with the Giants. Greg Newsome coming in on a one-year deal. They've got Drew Phillips as the nickel. Deonte Banks is still there. I think Delane makes a lot of sense. The other one, we've talked to multiple people, and if you really think Francis Mauigoa, not just is a guard, but a potentially elite guard. Right? If you think Renner and Brandon Thorne had him as number 2 guard, but if you think he's a really, really good guard, could you do that at 5?
Yeah.
Plug him in as right guard.
Well, ironically, yeah. I mean, I guess for the Giants, it's more about what you already have on the line. But ironically, if you see him that way, like if you see him the way Renner sees him, as opposed to you just see him as like the top tackle on the board, it's basically the same draft position, right? And we saw that with Quentin Nelson. Like, if you think he's a genuinely elite guard, he's worth taking in the top. I mean, he's worth taking at 6, and in this draft, 6 is 5, is 4, is 3. You know what I mean? It's the same thing because you don't have those blue chip superstars pushing him down, which is where he would go if he was just offensive tackle 1 anyway, right?
Yeah.
So it's, in a weird way, it doesn't actually change his draft slot at all, except for the Giants. It potentially changes whether you want him or not because you brought back Jermaine Illuminor already, who's presumably entrenched at right tackle. You have a spot at guard rather than tackle.
Yeah, and Illuminor's been a fine guard. And look, this is the Giant tackle. He's been a fine right tackle.
Not necessarily a guard. He has played guard.
Right. Sorry. I meant tackle.
Yeah.
I say the wrong words a lot.
I know. I'm just clarifying for the people.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Andrew Thomas at left tackle. John Michael Schmitz. Maybe he's ready for his finally to break out at center. Or you're going to get somebody later in the draft to plug and play there. But this would help the offensive line a lot. I just don't know if I want to do that at 5.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go Mansour Delane.
Where are you on the Mauigoa thing?
I got to run him through the system as a guard. I think he's
just from eyeballing it.
I'll give this away. Okay.
Ooh.
My numbers have him in a similar tackle range as J.C. Latham. And no, it's not bad. Like 60s. J.C. Latham, Talise Fuanga, the guys that came out a couple years ago. Like a fine tackle prospect that you take in the top 15. I don't know if I want to take him in the top 5.
I think there's some decent comps to Fuanga actually. I put on the tape and I immediately understood why Renner would want him inside a guard. Like, that guy moves people on contact. He's so powerful. And every one of his losses kind of looks the same. And it's the kind of loss that does happen on an island at tackle. It's like, I do think it's correctable, though. Like, Renner spent some time talking about sort of reactive athleticism for offensive linemen.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not necessarily can you get to a landmark. It's what happens when the next move comes. Can you react and shift that weight? I think a lot of times Proctor struggles with that, where once he gets 350 moving in one direction, it's pretty hard to get it moving back in another direction. I think Mauigoa is better at it than that. But his thing is he gets top heavy and leans and then he's done, right?
Yeah.
And it's like that. I mean, if that's going to be your problem, it's a terminal problem, or at least it's a problem that will put a hard cap on how good you can be. But I do think it's a correctable issue right now, technique-wise.
Yeah, so with all that said, I'd rather take Mauigoa a little bit later, and maybe to a team that has the option or the flexibility to use him in either spot, and you kind of play things out that way. So I might have a good landing spot for him a little bit later. So I'm going to take Mansour Delane at 5 for the Giants.
Even though he's got short arms?
I don't care about his short arms. I was so impressed by his film. I didn't know that I would. I mean, he was okay. And look, his second to last year at Virginia Tech, he was fine. Yeah. He was good. He wasn't great.
That scares me more than his arms, the fact that it's only 1 year of like elite play.
Yeah, 1 year of production, and it's partly the nature of the cornerback position. Yeah. But I think of all the positions where you have to lean less on production, whatever that is for corners, you have to look at traits and movement skills and just overall everything that Delane did, his short area movement, quickness, feel for the position, ability to stay on top of routes down the field. I didn't think speed. Everybody always says, well, as long as he ticks this speed box, because I wasn't watching Delane being like, oh, he looks like a 4.3 guy who's super fast. But then when he runs in the 4.3s, it's like, all right, great. He's certainly fast enough. Like there's other corners where you almost see their speed more because they're losing all the time. McCoy actually has a lot,
yes.
right? McCoy's losing enough,
like
and then he's going to out-athlete you to the catch point.
McCoy's speed, it's like, again, the guy that I comped him to a lot was Patrick Surtain, and the same thing. Like, nobody ever looked at Surtain's tape at Alabama and was like, this guy's a blazer. It's like, yeah, it's because he's never losing.
He's never out of position,
So he's never having to like sprint his ass off to try and claw back the 4 yards that he gave up on separation at the stem. Whereas other corners are. So Deonte Banks, right? It was obvious Deonte Banks had wheels because he lost a lot and had to claw back, the extra yardage. And you see that with McCoy. Delane, I saw Chris Sims talking about his arm length and was saying, you don't see him jam guys at the line the way you do some of these other corners, like maybe because he doesn't have the arm length to get into a guy's grill and really mess him up at the line. But he also, the reason I don't care about that is because he's so patient. He's playing press man without actually jamming a guy and just mirroring him off the line and just being patient, waiting for him to do his move and then just going with him. At which point,
how would you describe? Because I don't think Revis got hands on a ton. Do you think he did?
He did.
When I saw him, he was more of his footwork and mirroring more than I think.
So
jarring somebody like
he was in the middle.
Namdi used to.
Yeah, he was in the middle of the two things where he didn't get really hyper-aggressive right at the line of scrimmage and try to jam a guy at the line and keep him on there. But he got super physical as soon as the guy released.
Yeah, he maintained contact throughout the route.
And he was maybe the best I've ever seen at maintaining extremely borderline physical contact all the way through the route, right? And you go back to like Revis's prime. And this happens with every elite corner. People are like, particularly man cover corners. People are like, he's holding every play. Like, yeah, but if he doesn't get it called every play, that's called good coverage, Yeah. Like you might there's nowhere in the rules does it say you cannot touch a player during the route. What it says is you can't impede him on his way to the football when the ball's in the air. That's pass interference, right? And there's definition for holding. But if you can just get in a guy's way and slow him down enough, but you're allowed a level of physical contact, and if you're able to maintain that level of contact without the flag coming out, you are destroying the guy in coverage. And Revis was maybe the best I've ever seen at that. Delane, I don't think is that, but he's got that Surtain level of I am just going to sit there in my pedal or waiting for you to commit to your move. I'm going to mirror it like it's nothing, and then I'm going to go with you, and I'm going to be in your hip pocket the whole way. At which point, I don't need him to have long arms and press because he's in the same spot as the guy that pressed. Okay, maybe if you run a specific type of defense where you want the disruption and timing, maybe that's a bigger deal to you. But if I just want the guy to cover closely, I don't care about his arm length because he's already shown me he's able to do the stuff that offsets that.
All right, man, I'm doing it. I'm taking Delane at 5 to the New York Giants.
Done.
Browns are at 6 here. I don't think it's lazy to do this whole tackle receiver thing with the Browns because it is where the board generally stacks up. So I'm going to have that.
It's by far their most acute need.
Yeah, and they're the most acute needs at valuable positions, right? Yeah. So it's not like, they need a safety. Let's do so they need they need a left tackle. They need a receiver. I think Carnell Tate's the play here for me. Again, most people agree that the tackle class is down in the sense that it's not like top 10 caliber tackles, right? Not guys. There's no Joe Alt. Right. Say what you want about Will Campbell and what he did at the Super Bowl. I mean, people expected him to be a top 10 tackle. Amron Membu. I think those guys are probably better tackle prospects than what we have this year. See what happens at a couple picks, though. So I'm going to take Carnell Tate here at 6 for the Browns.
Yep.
I think the receiver need, the tackle options, there will be Josh Carnley went late first last year. I think there'll be those types of late first round tackle
There's
prospects.
Nobody, if you do it the other way around, right? Like, I would be upset that I missed out on Carnell Tate if I got to the next pick.
If Joe Alt was in this draft, first off, he wouldn't last to 6. But if he was there at 6, sprinting that pick in, I'm taking Joe Alt.
But my point being, there's no offensive tackle that's on the board right now that I think they would be upset by missing out on by going the other way around, right? Whereas I think this way around, you would be annoyed that you didn't get Carnell Tate relative.
Honestly, even Kelvin Banks, I might take him at 6. He was the third tackle off the board last year. The other guys that I mentioned, J.C. Latham, Talise Fuanga, they're probably like Fuanga. I think I liked a little bit better at the time. I'd consider him. Probably not Latham, not Maui Noah, just for the Browns right here at 6.
Right.
I want to take Tate.
Like Fashanu, I would take here.
Fashanu, I would take. Yeah, I'm trying to think of recent tackles. I would Fashanu plug and play left tackle for them. Yeah. Absolutely. So we'll come back with the Browns at 24. Commanders up on the clock at 7. We've debated this one a lot. I think a defensive playmaker would be awesome for them. The ones that I want, I've already picked. It's my mock. I would want, if I'm the Commanders.
For us, you and I both, I think this is the first realistic spot where each one of us is entertaining the Jeremiah Love conversation.
Yep, and for the reasons we've cited, I'm gonna cite it again. We went in depth last Wednesday, which I thought was a really fun show. I don't know if everybody enjoyed it, but we spent about 30 minutes on the running back value conversation. So we're not going to rehash that, but 30 minutes on last Wednesday, both sides of it, the positives and the negatives, the running back valuation component, the production component that I think people were missing. Right, there's a high confidence level that Jeremiah Love is going to be a high-end running back at the NFL level, the same way it was for Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, Ashton Genty, who's going to get there.
Which has an unusually good strike rate as a prediction.
The NFL's really good. When they draft a running back in the first round, they're usually right.
Not just first round, but the guys that are talked about as the top half, how high can you draft this special prospect? Those guys specifically have a preposterously good hit rate in the last decade. Like the last one that didn't unquestionably hit is Leonard Fournette. And even then, right behind him was Christian McCaffrey. It's like, that was pretty good.
Absolutely. And then you even look in that draft, I think it was that draft class that had Dalvin, right? Yeah. And I loved Dalvin in that class, and I thought he was a difference maker, as much as you can be at that position. And so when you have a potentially special home run hitting threat like Jeremiah Love, you go through your list of stuff. Do you have the O-line? Do you have these other pieces in place? I also look at the running quarterback. And so as much as I've said, hey, I don't think the Giants should go Jeremiah Love, they do have Jackson Dart, and that should be intriguing. You put Dart next to Jeremiah Love. The Browns don't have that right now. The Commanders, though, you put Jaden Daniels right next to Jeremiah Love, and I think you're going to put defenses in a bind. The Ravens have done it with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, and I know they haven't won a Super Bowl, and have they it's affected defenses, man.
Yeah.
It does. So I think this is the place where it makes a little bit of sense. The Cardinals they're picking at 8 now. They don't have a quarterback right now. The Chiefs, I don't think are going to do it. The Bengals, I'm just looking at other spots. Like, where else is Jeremiah Love going to go? I think the Commanders make sense here. Going back to the Titans at 4, Cam Ward can run a little bit, but he's not a design run type of guy, so I don't think you're building a QB run game around him. With the Commanders, I know we're going to have QB run game with Jaden Daniels and Marcus Mariota for 2 games a year, maybe 3 games a year in relief. So I'm going to go Jeremiah Love for the Commanders. And I think the price tag on the running back position starts to ease up a touch once you get to pick 7, 8, 9. Yeah. I'd rather take him at 10 to 15, in a perfect world. I'd also, if I was legitimately Adam Peters in Washington, any of the 5, it's my mock draft, any of the 5 guys who just previously went, right, I would rather for the Commanders. David Bailey, Reuben Bain, Arvell Reese, Mansour Delane, or Cardinal Tate. I think they fit the Commanders really well. They fit needs. They're good players. I picked them in the top 6. But now we're at the point where I think I'm okay taking Love, and it makes sense for Washington.
I think a few years ago when the Bijan Robinson year, and the draft slot I put on it of where's the highest you would draft a running back in the first round, I think I said 8 that year, and that was sort of strictly on the kind of financial aspect of it. Well, but the point is, that was like in a vacuum in an abstract year, blah, blah, blah. 8 financially was where I was like, that's where I think – that's about the highest I would go where it makes sense to me. But this isn't – this is a year where, A, all of the players that you would have taken above you took off the board because you're also your other GMs, and then B, there's just a relative lack of those blue chip players in this draft as well. So I think bumping that up 1 draft spot in this draft is perfectly reasonable.
I'll tell you what, I think this is going to be more palatable for Washington fans than Benny Palazzolo's mock draft 1.0.
Yeah?
Where he took Francis Maui-Noah.
Now, Benny is which?
He's the third one.
Third.
He's 7.
7.
This is his first mock. Last year he had Will Howard going number 1. But he nailed 2 first-round picks. He had Tyreek Williams going to the Lions. And Mason Graham going to the Browns. He did it at 2. He didn't do the trade down, but he had Mason Graham, and he had Marion Hampton going to the Chargers.
Well, everyone had that.
Not everyone. Well, a lot of people had him going to the Broncos. But you want to make fun of Benny. Who else had And
I haven't made fun of anybody.
No one had Tyreek Williams and Marion Hampton. Both of them nailed it. So Benny's first mock is taking a lot of heat out there. Taking a lot of heat. The comments are hilarious. I'm going to have one per kid, I think, all week here. Wait till Toby starts pressing buttons.
Yeah.
It's gonna be crazy. So the Cardinals are up at pick 8 now.
Yep. Having traded down.
The Saints traded up for Reuben Bain. Couldn't you see that happening? Can we get Mickey back on? He's got some picks again. He's got some cap space. Can we get him on a bender again, trading up, and go get your Marcus Davenport? Let's go.
Spent the last 4 years putting this house back in order. It's time to throw it on one guy.
Yeah. Like, what's
time to go Marcus Davenport on this again?
Yes, it's time. Go get Reuben Bain, as he did. I think the Cardinals are happy to trade down. Now they've got the right tackle need. I like Spencer Fano as the top tackle in the draft.
Yeah,
and that's the right tackle. And I'm going to go Fano at 8 here for the Cardinals. And he's going to be their plug and play right tackle. They snuck an extra 3rd rounder. I don't even know if that's fair. I haven't gone through all of it, but
the more I do this, the more I find myself gravitating towards fail safes on players. Like, give me multiple reasons this guy isn't going to suck, and I'm like buying into that as a thing. You know, like Arvell Reese. Well, if he can't rush the passer, at least I know he's a good linebacker, right? The number of ways.
Last year.
I find myself like warming to that as a logical train of thought for draft picks. The more we do this, I don't know if I'm just getting older and therefore more conservative, which is the way it's supposed to work, right? The older you get, the more right wing you get. Maybe this is the way it's like. The older I get, the more scared of failure I become, and just like, give me the number of ways this guy can't fail.
The more money you have, the more you want to keep it. So you start to go with don't screw me over.
I don't have any money anymore. I just put it into a Mustang.
Yeah, that was
stupid.
Yeah. Reminds me when you did the mud run thing.
Yeah,
this is a dumb idea.
Tough Mudder. It was stupid from the moment it came up. It was stupid the whole way.
Went through with it.
Yeah.
Knew what you were getting into.
Yeah. It was a dumb idea. It became a dumb practice.
You always make fun of me because I don't see bear traps, which is fair. You're like, you warn me. Hey, don't go down this path. You're not seeing. You see the bear traps and
walk
just
right into it. Yeah.
Right through it.
See it and like, watch this. Yeah.
Told you it was a trap.
Right.
Nailed it. Spencer Fano to the Cardinals at 8. And I think he play right tackle. I like the way Brandon Thorne described him as having range in pass protection, right? Gets good depth, stays square, technically sound, uses his hands well, movement, zone blocking can be fantastic. And I think this would be a good move for Arizona here.
Yeah, he's a crazy good athlete. Like, you just watch him move around. I mean, even at the combine, watch him. Like, he's according to his mock draftable spider chart, whatever. He's basically an 85th percentile athlete in basically everything. 3-cone, broad jump, vertical, 40-yard dash, 10-yard split, blah blah blah. He moves well.
I'll talk about. I'll just throw this out there and then I'll talk about it more later. But I really enjoyed Nate Tice, who's friend of the show, had his dad, Mike Tice, on his show, second year in a row.
Vikings head coach.
Yep, breaking down 15 offensive linemen. I actually didn't get to the guards yet, but I listened to the whole tackle part of the show. Really fun discussion hearing Mike Tice break things down and just hearing his thought process. It's funny where Nate and his dad, they learned probably in a similar way. Nate probably learned a lot from his dad, I'm sure, through the years, and they came to a lot of similar conclusions. Other places they disagreed, whatever it may have been, but it was a great discussion. I'll talk about the player that they loved later that I'm going to be a little bit lower on. But they still had Fano as he could play tackle. And I think Mike Tice really loved his tenacity and the way he got after it in the run game and everything. And the only question for him, the only thing that could screw you over is the shorter arms. He's under 33 inches. That's not insurmountable, by the way. That's Luke Gedicke has done extremely well with sub 33-inch arms.
And only just under if you take his pro day number.
Yes,
he got
just
up to within 1/8 of an inch of it.
Will Campbell, everybody, it's a hot topic because of Will Campbell and
like his arms.
Bain the last couple of years.
If you take his pro day number, his arms are 1/8 of an inch shorter than Rashawn Gary's. Not Rashawn Gary, Rashawn Slater.
Rashawn Slater. Yeah.
Rashawn Slater, who was right at the cutoff and has become, Pro Bowl caliber left tackle.
All right, Chiefs are up at 9 here. We've talked a lot about this Chiefs pick. I think their fans get very upset when you draft a tackle.
Yeah, super upset.
I'm not going to, but I'm going to explain why it's not crazy really quickly here for the Chiefs. Because you have 1 year of Jalen Moore.
It's basically never crazy to draft an offensive tackle.
No. And I don't want to be the guy that's like, oh, the same fans.
The only time it would be, the closest you could get to it being crazy is if you had the Chargers. If the Chargers took an offensive tackle this year, and even then, because they're coming back from injury. Yeah. Okay, not even the Chargers. If you had both Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt, and neither one of them was coming off an injury, then it would be kind of crazy. But that's about as close as it gets to nuts. Other than that, you're either dealing with a tackle who's coming off an injury, you're dealing with a tackle who's got 1 year left in his deal, or 2 years, you're only ever very close to needing a guy anyway, or you can shove him a guard and make it work for a year. It's almost never a bad idea.
I don't want to be the guy that's like, the same fans that complain about this are now complaining about that, because it's not always the same exact fans. But for a franchise in Kansas City who has Patrick Mahomes and has had 2 duds in the Super Bowl that I know every Kansas City fan directly blames the offensive line. In the Bucs game, you could definitely say that. The Eagles game, I think it was a little bit of both. But clearly, when the offensive line collapses, this offense collapses. So overcommitting to the offensive line, especially in Kansas City's case, is not a bad idea. And then it is fair to bring up, if you were the Chargers with 2 long-term tackles, even with some injury concerns, 2 long-term tackles, if you drafted another tackle, not to play guard, but to play tackle, you'd say, well, where's the path to the field in the next 4 years? That's a fair question. For the Chiefs, if they drafted a tackle, there's a path to the field at least next year, right? In addition to
the field now.
And there is now.
The guy might be better than Jalen Moore.
Jalen Moore's not making $30 million a year.
But
right?
Remember,
he's at $15 million a year. It's not crazy money.
Remember
he could just be a swing tackle.
Right, but remember a year ago, Jalen Moore went into the draft as the starting left tackle. And then Josh Simmons fell, and they draft Josh Simmons. You're like, well, that's perfect, because Jalen Moore starts right away. Josh Simmons can come back off the patella, was it, that he was coming off? And it's like that the timing works perfectly. He can basically redshirt for a year while Jalen Moore mans the helm at left tackle. And then it's like, immediately in training camp, Simmons is just better than Jalen Moore, so Jalen Moore's on the bench, right? That could happen 2 years in a row where they draft a right tackle for next year, and then it turns out that right tackle is just better than Jalen Moore, and day one he's starting.
So they literally just did this last year.
Right.
And they still needed Jalen Moore anyway.
And I'm not saying they have to, because Jalen Moore might be fine. I'm just saying that, you can't look at that and say, well, there's no path to the field, because we just saw it happen to the same guy.
And look, I get it, and I get it if you're a fan and you're like, well, I'd rather a receiver, or I'd rather
That's
a
different
corner, and I'd rather something
yes.
else.
Right.
But it's not egregious
Correct.
to go through Francis Maui-Noah, Fano if he's there, Monroe Freeling if you love him. It's not egregious to have these discussions.
Yeah. There's a difference between saying, is this an acute need, in which case you would say no, versus is it absolutely crazy to draft a player at this position because it isn't an acute need? And the answer to that is also no.
And I know they have Essa Pole, who was a little bit okay down this. I don't trust Wanye Morris or Essa Pole. I don't trust those guys. So that's me with Kansas City. So I don't think it's an egregious thing. And then the final thing I'll say about that is you don't normally pick at 9, and so it's where you get those kinds of plays. It's where you get long-term tackles. I know you got Josh Simmons at 32 last year, or 30, whatever it was, 32, but that was injury-based, right? Yeah. That doesn't normally happen. Now, given the available players, Caleb Downs, I think, makes sense to me. Just good football player, right? Haven't talked about Caleb Downs yet. He could be there.
Baller.
Maybe you just love Dylan Thieneman better, who just continues to move up draft boards. Maybe you want a linebacker to replace Leo Chanel. I'm going somewhere else, though. If Carnell Tate was here, I think Carnell Tate's a top 2 pick, a top 2 option for the Giants at 5, Browns at 6, Commanders at 7, Saints if they stayed at 8, Chiefs at 9. I think Carnell Tate, if he's on the board, is one of your 2 top options. He's off the board now. I'm looking at the next potential receiver, and I think the Chiefs. Now, the Rashee Rice off-field stuff apparently has blown over. There'll be no suspension for Rashee Rice, but I still don't know if you trust him enough off the field to pay him. So future-proofing the wide receiver position and just adding a playmaker in the short term. I'm going Mekhi Lemon here.
Ooh.
At 9 for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Wow. He's
a slot. They'll free him up on the interior. You move him around. You add him with Rashee Rice. Let's let Xavier Worthy just be the deep threat. And we know we have to think about the post-Travis Kelce world. And I don't know that the post-Travis Kelce world is – I don't think you're replacing him with a tight end. Like, he's one of one in uniqueness at the position. So you don't have to – the only guy like Dalton Kincaid when he came out a couple years ago, maybe, that type of player. But I don't know that you're just going to find the next Travis Kelce, nor do you have to. So give me a middle-of-the-field winner with quicks, enough speed that's going to get open, like Mekhi Lemon. And they can protect him away from press and everything that they do. And I think the Rams can do it, the Chiefs can do it. Just protect that guy from press. Now, would I love a Carnell Tate on the outside who can play on the outside, face press a little bit more and be a deep threat? Absolutely. I like Mekhi Lemon here for the Chiefs.
I haven't seen that come up.
Is that crazy?
Your logic makes sense. Look, again, the one player that he's comped to the most is Amon-Ra St. Brown. And I think, there are some slight differences in that. He's notably smaller than St. Brown, right? He's like 10 pounds smaller, an inch or two shorter. Like, he is physically not as big as St. Brown. I don't know that he's as immediate quick either as St. Brown. But anyway, if that is and if you can deploy him in the same way and say he's going to be one of our top receivers and we're going to keep him away from the stuff that he doesn't necessarily do that well, we're going to make sure, like, again, you watch St. Brown, even when he's playing outside, like not in the slot, they have like Jamison Williams ahead of him, right? Like, he's not the guy on the line of scrimmage facing press coverage. They stack him behind Jamison.
Yep.
Jamison takes care of that. Amon-Ra works out behind that, and he's always open because of it. Like, if you do that to Mekhi Lemon, you say, even when we play you outside, we're going to make sure that, somebody else is standing in front of you in the stack and you're not exposed to that aggressive press coverage, then yeah, like, you can turn that guy into an extremely high-end productive receiver. And I think, the league has been going that way for a while. Like, we're kind of moving away from the Wes Welker world of that's what a slot receiver looks like. And now it's more the sort of two designation of the guy that has to be on the line of scrimmage taking care of that press coverage and the guy that plays behind him who might also be in the slot most of his time who can do everything else.
I really thought this might be a fit throughout the process. I don't know if we haven't seen it as much, but yeah. I like that for the Chiefs at 9. Mekhi Lemon. Bengals up at 10 here. We've looked at defensive playmakers quite a bit for them. Mm-hmm. I think who we debate Sonny Styles and Caleb Downs here. I'm going to go Downs. I think Downs a better pure football player. I think they could easily make the case in that building. The defense has gone south without Jesse Bates, right? We talk about this all the time. In a vacuum, the lack of positional value at the safety position, because you could find starters anywhere. This safety class is really intriguing. I know you like a guy like Bud Clark, and there's a lot of players on day 2, maybe even late day 2 and into day 3 that could be plug-and-play starters. So there's some good downhill box-type players who are reasonable in coverage and can play too high in this draft. So, like, finding a safety starter is doable in this draft class. But it's tough to argue with the fact that the Bengals defense has gone south since they lost Jesse Bates, and Caleb Downs has a chance to be that type of impact player for this defense.
This is an instance where I think the Bengals' kind of conservatism in how they do things actually would work out perfectly for them. Like, for another team, I think they would talk themselves into, well, Sonny Styles is this athletic freak and a one-of-one. The ceiling is astronomical, and maybe he'll become that player and he'll be, the next Fred Warner. I just think the safety of Caleb Downs being extremely good from day one is so, again, old man Sam with his the old man conservatism.
Safety. Just safety.
He's going to be good, and if he might be amazing. So draft the guy and upgrade. Simple.
They've made some additions on the defensive line, with Boye Mafe coming in and Jonathan Allen coming in. They do have Brian Cook coming in. Now, if you have Brian Cook and Caleb Downs, I mean, that's 4 starting positions on the defense that have been upgraded, assuming Allen's a starter here and Maffei's a starter, however he's rotating with, say, Miles Murphy up front. And then you just say, okay, was linebacker awful last year? Yes, but at least Demetrius Knight and Barrett Carter were both rookies, and maybe they could get better. And from a team building perspective, I think that'll feel better than drafting a first round linebacker and saying you've now, if they drafted Sonny Styles on Friday morning after the draft, you could say they've had 7 picks in the last 2 years, and 3 of them were on linebackers.
Yeah, you would feel better even though we know that this is potentially, like, it's called a fallacy, the sunk cost fallacy for a reason, right? It does, however, still make you feel good that you didn't need to acknowledge that you've set fire to a draft pick a year ago, right? So, for multiple reasons, what is not necessarily good process, I think, would work out in the Bengals' favor, because I think, generally speaking, people are overthinking the Caleb Downs thing. Like, from day one that he stepped onto a college football field, he's been talked about as a top 10 draft pick and the best player in the nation at his position, and maybe on defense, just across the board. And then nothing has happened between that and now, and yet people are saying maybe he's the 3rd best safety in the draft. You're like, what?
Yeah.
That's not true. Now, maybe it might, everything, like, these things always, shocks happen when you translate from college to the NFL. Maybe it'll turn out that he's the 3rd best safety in this draft class. But there's basically no logical reason to think that that's true.
Well, by the way, really, while we're here talking Bengals, in using the Jesse Bates example, Jesse Bates was more of a pure free safety with incredible range. I think you could easily, just in Cincinnati's case, if they do have that in the back of their mind, you could make the case for Dylan Thieneman from Oregon and say, if you are trying to get back to the glory days of 2021 and 22, you could say Thieneman's more of a fit there because he's more of a pure free safety, unbelievable athlete. There are some questions about Downs' pure athleticism, not just because he didn't run, but some of the game athleticism is not exactly what you want to see. It's also, the safety position's also the position where you care the least about straight line speed, the least of any position. It's like that in running back, but if you have it, it helps, right? It doesn't mean you're going to be good, but if you have it and you're a good football player like Thieneman, it's intriguing. So you could easily make the case, here's our pure free safety, but Brian Cook's more of a pure free safety as well. So what do you want there? But I think Downs is a good compliment for what they're doing in Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. And he's a good football player.
Yes.
All right, right now FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get $250 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. That's right, turn $5 into $250 in bonus bets just for getting started. And when every possession matters in the playoffs, FanDuel makes it easier to get closer to the action, from player props on your favorite stars to all the tools you need to back them up. FanDuel puts player research right at your fingertips. Boy. So you can check stats, trends, and matchups all in one place and make your picks with confidence. It's everything you need, all in one app, so don't miss your shot. Head to FanDuel.com/33rd to get started. FanDuel, play your game. You got to be 21 plus in select states for Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, 18 plus in D.C., Kentucky, Wyoming. First online real money wager only, $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-MY-RESET. Call 1-888-789-7777. Visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 in Massachusetts. Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. And call 1-877-770-7867 in Louisiana. All right, I'll reset today.
Good.
Because it's my mock.
It is.
And I need the people to hear what I say. Raiders, Fernando Mendoza, Indiana quarterback, number 1. Jets take edge rusher David Bailey out of Texas Tech at number 2. Number 3, we have a trade. The Saints have traded up from 8 to 3 to go get Reuben Bain, the edge rusher out of Miami. The Titans are taking Arvell Reese, the edge rusher out of Ohio State, at 4. The Giants are taking cornerback Mansour Delane at 5 out of LSU. The Browns are going Ohio State wide receiver Carnell Tate at 6. The Commanders are taking Notre Dame running back Jeremiah Love at 7. The Cardinals, who traded down from 3 to 8, are taking Spencer Fano, the tackle out of Utah. The Chiefs are taking USC wide receiver Mekhi Lemon at 9. And the Bengals are taking Caleb Downs, Ohio State safety, at number 10. Puts the Miami Dolphins up on the clock at pick 11. First pick for John Eric Sullivan and the new regime here in Miami, which I always think somewhat matters.
Yeah.
This is where I like Francis Maui-Noa in this range for them. You've got one more year of Austin Jackson at right tackle. You could plug and play Maui-Noa at guard. This is the type of situation where I think the potential two-position versatility makes sense. We could try guard year one, tackle for the future, or we could just stay at guard, and I like them going to Miami here.
Or again, I can imagine a world where, like the Chiefs last year, Maui Noah is just better than Austin Jackson day one. And
yeah, or you just be the guy. Go ahead, compete.
I think they'd love that. I think Miami would be. I mean, obviously they've got glaring needs in a bunch of different places. But if the top is that the top offense? No, Spencer Fano you took earlier.
I took Fano already.
If Maui Noah, who's seen by many as the consensus number one offensive lineman in this draft, was available for them at their pick, I think they would be ecstatic.
So that's a pick for the Dolphins at 11. Again, early in mock drafts, it's like, oh, they got to take a corner. They got to take whatever they can take here. They need receivers. They need corners. They still need offensive line help. They need a lot. And the Packers' history is to always take guys that can play guard, tackle, and whatever. They love that positional versatility, especially on the offensive line. They'll attack receiver and corner later in this draft. Puts the Cowboys up on the clock at pick 12. A lot of times, I'm debating this one here. I went a different way. I'll see what happens here. We've given them Jermod McCoy a lot at Tennessee. He ran fast at his pro day, didn't play in all of 2025. He's a good corner, very good corner. He's on the clock here, or he's on the board here. So is Sonny Styles. I think it's oversimplistic to just say, oh, they'll definitely take a corner and a linebacker, but they're both pretty big needs. Any defensive line help, still a need for the Cowboys. I don't know if there's a good fit here for them at 12. I'm going to go Sonny Styles here.
Is this Sonny Styles' floor?
I would never set this high of a floor for a linebacker. I don't think I would. I know he's a great athlete, long, good, productive player, Ohio State. I don't think this is really his floor. Bengals could take him at 10. Chiefs could take him at 9. I mean, anybody could talk yourself into a linebacker, but you could also easily talk yourself out of taking linebackers that high too, right? So I wouldn't set this as a floor.
All right.
But I think if you're the Cowboys at 12, you're feeling good. I know we've talked, I wouldn't take him in the top 5 like we've talked about in other mock drafts. I just wouldn't do it. I don't care about the workout enough to be able to do that. And honestly, it's an interesting one with Arvell. Arvell Reese is only in the I don't think Arvell Reese is a top 5 overall linebacker. I don't even know if he's a better linebacker than Sonny Styles. But it's because he can project to edge that puts him in the top 5 conversation, 20 years old, upside in the whole thing. But Styles, I think, will feel much better in the teens than he would in the top 10. So I'll take him at 12 here.
Also, linebacker is, I don't think, a particularly easy position to project being the next Fred Warner to. For example, Fred Warner himself was a third rounder. People didn't project Fred Warner to be the next Fred Warner.
It's a really tough position. And I'll repeat this too, and I think Ledyard said it on the show the other day. So John did not have Arvell Reese ranked as an edge rusher.
Right.
Not because he couldn't do it. He just loves him as a linebacker. Absolutely loves him. Other people agree. And he's continued to make the point that I agree. If you have Fred Warner, if you have the elite linebacker, it's great.
Yeah.
But like you said, projecting that guy. If I knew that Luke Kuechly was in this draft and I could get Luke Kuechly, that career is worth the top 5 pick. Patrick Willis's career is worth the top 5 pick. They both went. Was Kuechly 12?
Remember.
Willis was 7 or 8 or something. I mean, that's worth a top 5 pick, but projecting that at linebacker is difficult sometimes. Sometimes you just know it, you see it. I don't know if that's there for Sonny Styles. I don't know if that's there for Arvell Reese. I don't know if it's that clear that you have a Luke Kuechly, Patrick Willis type of prospect and then career start to finish. But I think Styles, good player that the Cowboys would be happy to have at 12. It fits their need as well. Rams up on the clock at 13. I don't know, man. We've talked about O-line for the Rams.
Not because they have a need, but because they might have a future need pretty quickly.
Jeez. They have a whole bunch of starters in the last year of their deal.
Yeah.
And they're fine starters. They're fine. I mean, Warren McClendon filled in. He's got 1 year left at right tackle. Steve Avila still there at guard. I mean, they have to either pay all these guys or get cheaper at some point and let those guys walk. So are they intrigued? Or, Monroe Freeling is on the board here. So I'll talk about that quickly. I'm a little bit lower on Freeling. I don't love him, but I get it. size, movement skills. The Tices love him. Love Freeling. They got him as a top tackle, top 10 player. I mean, I think they would sprint this pick in if Mike Tice was picking or Nate Tice was picking. And then the most acute need for LA is the receiver position because of questions around Devontae Adams' age and whatever with Puka Nacua now. And plus, it's not like you can't use a third receiver in year one.
Right.
Which would be awesome for Stafford.
Right. Can't run a lot of 13 personnel with 3 wide receivers, though. But yes, you can.
You don't need to. You don't need to run.
I'm just joking.
Just making a joke.
Yeah.
Just Kenyon Sadiq, you can run.
There you go.
04 personnel.
Yes.
14 personnel. Just all tight ends. Just make the whole offense out of tight ends with Sadiq. I don't. Do you have an MRI on Jordan Tyson's hamstrings? Can we get some hamstring update?
No.
I'm really tempted by Jordan Tyson here for the Rams. You're picking at 13, potential home run pick.
He's becoming one of the more polarizing prospects in this draft, where the people that love him say he's wide receiver 1 and, an elite caliber prospect, and then there's people that are scared of his injury history. There's people that question his toughness. There's people that question his ball skills generally. Like, there's a lot of detractors, and unlike so the detractors for Mekhi Lemon all say the same thing. The detractors for Jordan Tyson all have different things they don't like. Don't love that. I'm more comfortable with, okay, at least we can all argue about this player. We all see the same problem. We're just discussing how big of a problem that is, right?
Yes.
That's Mekhi Lemon, that's Emeka Ibuka, that's these players, right? It's like this is his limitation. The question is, how big of a problem is that? With Tyson, the issue is that we're identifying 3 or 4 different problems and debating, A, which one do you care about the most, and B, how much of a problem are all of them put together? I don't love that as a thing.
Yeah, I know. So I did a pre-mock, like I estimated it. So I'm doing this live, but I had like a
Pre-mock.
a blueprint, and I went off the rails with the trade. That's not part of this.
Oh, you broke your own mock.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. This was like, I just click some buttons, feel it. I was just feeling it, right? Doing some preparation for the show, which I know is crazy town. So I had Tyson and the Rams at 13.
Okay.
I don't know if I'd really do it. I don't know if I would really do it, but they might. I don't know if I'd really do it.
Again, risk-averse Sam in his old age is scared of Jordan Tyson.
I mean, Mohal's in the chat being like, "Of course, Steve loves all the injured players."
That's true.
But I'm like, hands. I don't have the MRI. I don't have the doctor's notes.
You're just working off the doctor.
I don't know.
The doctor cleared him. You're good.
Yeah, I don't have the detailed information.
Somewhere there's a medical professional that's told Steve he's good to go, and so Steve signed on.
Somebody says it's an unrealistic mock draft. Is this your first draft, sir?
Every mock draft is unrealistic.
Is this your first draft? I need something real, like I need Michael Penix Jr. going at 8 after Kirk Cousins signed his massive free agent deal. I need something realistic, like would happen on draft night, like that.
Yeah.
That's what I need. Come on, man. Don't be ridiculous.
Every mock draft is unrealistic. Unless you say the only ones that wouldn't be are the ones if you just literally ran the sim and said this is the most likely thing to happen every draft pick, which itself will not happen. Like that's the closest to realism that you might get, and that's absurdly disconnected from what's actually going to take place.
I'm going Jordan Tyson here. They're swinging for the fences.
All right.
Movement skills are outstanding when he's out there and healthy.
His upside is really high, but
yeah.
I'm scared of all of the negatives.
I'm scared of him too, but this is my hybrid. I think they could swing here. All right, Ravens are up at 14. I'll tell you what's intriguing here for Baltimore is we have the better. We have a better. We have a draft bet that if Venga Ioane is on the board, the Ravens are absolutely making that pick, and I think that's a good reasonable guess here. And I may have gone that way. However, Jamad McCoy's on the board still.
Yeah.
And I am really interested in that for the Ravens at 14 here. Really interested in Jamad McCoy. at 14. He's off the board to Dallas and a lot of mocks. And
this would be a pretty good like sometimes I think we've hit 14 and haven't loved it for the Ravens. This is one where it's 14's great. Like you've got Freeling's on the board, Sadiq is available,
did I reach
McCoy.
somewhere to throw things off?
I don't know, but it's in contrast to other mock drafts. I think this has worked out excellently for Baltimore.
So that's where I think I got to go. He'd be the best player for me right now. McCoy at 14 with his speed and athleticism opposite another speedster, Nate Wiggins, with Marlon Humphrey getting older and being rumored to be released but not actually released. I'm going to take that over the starting guard. So I'm going Jermod McCoy here for the Ravens.
Nice.
I didn't think he'd be available.
No.
But here I am. I made him available for myself. And so he's going to be my pick at 14.
Rare occasion where you haven't screwed yourself.
For the Ravens. I know. I didn't. Who did I? Because I took Tyson. I wouldn't. I don't know if I'd really take Tyson that high. But I'm getting in Les Snead's headspace. He wants elite playmakers. By the way, going back to the Rams. Last 2 years, he was trying to trade up for Brock Bowers. He was trying to trade up for Tetero and McMillan. Now he's going to get a potentially elite playmaker in Jordan Tyson. That's why the Rams are doing it. The Ravens get to take Jermod McCoy at 14, puts the Bucs up on the clock at pick 15. What are we debating here? Now, I know they could use some linebacker help. I don't love where we are with the linebacker group right now. We know they could use some pass rushers. And they could use a Kenyon Sadiq. Sadiq's still on the board. I think he's really intriguing for the Bucs as a compliment to Kate Otten, who they brought back.
Yep.
I don't think I'm going to do it, though.
He's an interesting tight end. Like, he's a playmaker. He's got blazing straight line speed. I don't think he's necessarily the easiest tight end in the world to maximize the impact of within an offense.
Yeah, he reminds me a little bit of Noah Fant.
Yeah.
Where my report on Fant coming out was like straight line speed and running seams, he's legit. Fant had a lot of drops. That's not why I don't like Sadiq. It's not about drops necessarily, but I didn't think Fant was like a move around, natural receiver playmaker type. But he can still be really good, and I think Sadiq has that ability. If you get Sadiq in the right scheme, his speed I think could be a force multiplier. Right, when you are running him up the seam and running him on crossers and getting him into space with the ball in his hands. But I think that's different than the two tight ends last year. What we saw from Colston Loveland was like, hey, go be the X, be a natural receiver, and go win. And I think Warren can do that as well. And I don't think you're getting that same thing. And Bowers can do that. And I don't think you're getting the same thing from Sadiq. Now, I was famously lower on the tight end class last year too, so maybe I'm just always wrong on tight ends. Yeah. Just undervaluing the tight end, just always a touch. Always undervaluing them.
But it does feel a lot like Noah Fant and Evan Engram, I think, is the other one, where it's like they're not necessarily natural, zone-occupying players, which is where a lot of tight end production comes from. They're athletes at the tight end position, and the best deployment of them is running away from coverage.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily the easiest thing in the world to dial up within a play.
Yeah, so I still go in the first round, and again, I don't know where the NFL is going to value Sadiq in this draft. If you look at him and say, well, those movement skills, you don't find that every day. Of course, that's worth the top 15. I could be not even off on that. I could just be valuing it differently than what happens on draft night. But for the Bucs here, I'm going Hakeem Mesidor at 15. I'm getting the pass rusher, guy with the full move set. I think Ledyard had him third. He had Bain 2, Mesidor 3. I was close. I almost did I could have the Jets do, the Bain at 2 and then Mesidor at 16. Have them both together.
Uh-huh.
But I think Mesidor's, his athleticism, I think he's just a good natural athlete as far as just movement skills, tying his moveset to his footwork, both on the interior and on the edge. I think he brings some versatility to the defensive front.
What does the tracking data say about both him and Bain, actually? Because I don't love that both of them skipped all of the workout stuff, which kind of says to me that they're not great at that. Now, I don't necessarily care with Bain because he's so powerful, and so I think he'll be good anyway, and that the bend. With Mesidor, though, it might actually matter if he's not a tremendous athlete, even though, as you said, I thought he looked like a good athlete on tape, but then why didn't he test?
I don't know. I thought he just looked fluid. Interesting, actually. Bain's kind of low.
But I would buy that.
On
Like,
all
that
of it.
makes sense to me, right? I just don't care necessarily about him. But Mesidor, I agreed with you. I thought he did look pretty athletic on tape, but if he just didn't test, because who the hell cares? I don't think that's tremendous advice from his.
Mesidor was fine. What's interesting is what I found from some of the athleticism stuff is to just look at because I know a lot of companies are doing this different ways. There's a lot of data out there, and there's a lot of different ways to look at it. My theory on it is because so much of it's opportunity based, unless you do some really good math to quantify those opportunities. But I think you're tightening up the sample too much. That you should just take a player's peak. And Mesidor's got a pretty good peak, but just happened like 4 years ago against when he was at West Virginia. He's been okay athletically, but to me, he feels like a good athlete. But again, it's somewhat opportunity driven. It's better at some positions than others. I think a lot of the athleticism data has been good at the extreme ends.
Right.
Like when a guy is just 98th, 99th percentile, it plays and you see it and you feel it, and then as long as you're not below certain threshold, it's not bad. So he's close. I think he's fine. He feels athletic to me though.
Same. Which is why, again,
finish on quarterbacks, his burst. And when I say athleticism, something that won't show up in the numbers, I'm talking about just the fluidity of his move set. Because sometimes you see a guy's like legs aren't tied to his arms as well. You know what I mean? Like things just aren't coordination. Renner talks about balance a lot. I think he has a lot of that and does that really well.
Yeah, that's why it's just kind of annoying that he didn't put any numbers to any of this stuff. It's like there's already enough of a reason to be scared of you with the age thing. You want to add the athleticism red flag, if you like, to it.
No, I'm with you. Listen, every team, you hear this all the time. Every team's got game athleticism now and everything. I don't know that there's a clear proxy. Like when we see a player's 3-cone or shuttle and you see that it's, 20th percentile or something, there's a back catalog history of players who are really good straight line and bad shuttles.
Yeah.
And then you can go and compare them and say, this isn't great. And it shows up on film. And I don't know that the game athleticism stuff is that robust yet. Maybe some teams have cracked it and they've got a really good handle on it. There's, stories the Rams are always, forward looking and they've got their AI breakdowns and everything that they're doing.
Certain teams are certainly doing some pretty crazy and sophisticated stuff with that. But I think you're right. Like it massively shrinks down the sample size, and maybe that doesn't matter when it comes to athleticism because all you're looking for is athleticism is an area where legitimately can do is potentially the only thing that matters, as opposed to that's not the case when you're talking about actual production. It's like it actually matters how often you do this stuff, not whether you can do it or not. Whereas athletically, theoretically, the only thing that matters is, well, can you do this? Because then we know you're capable of that kind of athleticism.
Right. So, with Mesidor, I don't get a sense that the athleticism is going to be a problem, even though he didn't test.
Yeah.
And it just helps when you see all that data, but we don't have it on him.
Right.
Jets are up at pick 16 here. Went David Bailey at pick 2. Where am I? I took Mesidor. You made me click off my mock draft here. I took Mesidor at 15. All right. I'll tell you what, Thieneman's screaming at me right now.
Really?
I'm starting to, I don't know. I'm back. It depends on the week with him for me. I'm not going that way, though. Sadiq, do you want another playmaker? So if I'm the Jets, I think I either want, if the right second defensive lineman falls, I'd be like, if you went back-to-back defensive linemen.
Well, you're contractually obliged now to draft Keldrick Falk.
Oh, that's right. Mesidor and Falk back-to-back. You have to do it, right? Just throw the whole thing out?
People have been out here saying that Omar Cooper Jr. at 16 is like a lock. Like that's one I've seen. Not just that it's come up a lot, but like there are people out here reporting, that if that's the Jets will draft Omar Cooper Jr. at 16, lock it in. That's what
I want to write down. I want to write down all those things.
Yeah.
We say this every year. I need to know, like, there's this unbelievable certainty that people speak with before the draft.
With individual players in the middle of the first round.
With like, Caden Proctor not getting by the Lions. Omar Cooper. Write this down. Who's writing this down for us? These are the things that, and we're going to draft night, tick them all. Everybody was right. But that's actually what I'm doing. Omar Cooper Jr. to the Jets. I was showing you. It's what I did last night in my.
I know, but you'd already gone off the board. I didn't know if that was still existing.
I'm taking Omar Cooper Jr. for the Jets. Oh. I think they're thrilled to come away with this with a pass rusher and a receiver.
Mm-hmm.
And to repeat Omar Cooper Jr.'s rise. I thought 2 years ago, great downfield playmaker. Last year, after the catch, slippery. He's got the incredible catch against Penn State. I just think he's got a good feel and feel for the position. Can win inside and out, and tenacity, man. He's just got that. Gets after it at the catch point. I love it. I love Omar Cooper. I thought he might sneak into the second round and then the back end of the first, and here we are talking about him at 16 and maybe even the Rams at 13, that he might be in play.
Yeah. He's
good player.
He's really good.
You really like him.
Yeah, he's really, really good. He's the best, yak run after the catch guy in the draft. 27 broken tackles last year, and was only on like 60-something catches. It's not like, he had 120 odd. Like, he's making people miss basically every other time he touches the ball. He's played inside and out. He's not like, if you're scared of the Mekhi Lemon thing of like, can he actually beat press coverage on the outside, to which the answer is probably not really. I don't think there's the same question is there for Omar Cooper Jr. There's a lot of plays where he's just smoking a guy on the outside in press coverage, one-on-one, and then running away from him in the acceleration phase. I think he can do that. He's incredibly tough. He's got some of the most ridiculous highlight catches of any receiver in the draft. He barely ever drops the ball. He's got an amazing catch radius for a guy as stocky and tight, like short, stumpy as he is. I think he's a really good player.
It's my guy, man. Early adopter on Omar Cooper last summer. Before Dane had even really dove into his tape, but Omar. It helped my college fantasy team quite a bit as well.
So that's all that really matters.
All right, Detroit Lions at pick 17.
Proctor. Apparently.
You ready to get crazy?
Oh.
Lions at 17.
Yeah.
Early in the process, we looked at guards, thinking they've had a guard problem, but they've invested there a little bit the last couple of years. Taylor Decker's out. Penei Sewell's moving to left tackle.
Mm-hmm.
So the Lions are now going in with a pretty specific need at tackle, more specifically right tackle. So Monroe Freeling's on the board. Talked about the Tices absolutely loving him. And again, I get it. I'm just not there yet. I think there's a lot of projection there. I think he's a year or two away.
Okay.
With some question marks and pass pro and anchoring, run game. Got some questions. Really good athlete, Freeling. I really like Blake Miller from Clemson. And I think he's slept on by some. Some people have the wide range of opinions on Blake Miller. 4-year starter. He's got like 8,000 snaps of, well, not 8,000. He's got a lot of reps. A lot of reps, a lot of ball. He's a good player. And he's athletic. Like, he ticks a lot of boxes.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm taking Blake Miller for the Lions at 17. He's going to be the plug-and-play right tackle. If we're moving Penei to the left side, I don't want to deal with, like, if you draft Freeling, he's a left tackle, then he's going to move to right. Now we're just moving people all over the place. Maybe you keep Penei on the right and you develop Freeling. I don't know. I like Blake Miller here, though.
All right.
And he's going to be my starting right tackle. Next 10 years is what you say.
So
Next 10 years.
Mad at that.
Who is?
Everyone. Because you didn't get Proctor, who apparently they're going to draft.
I don't care.
And then you didn't draft Freeling, who would be the guy they'd pass on Proctor for. You went Miller instead.
I'll give you one piece of
piss
insight.
Everybody off.
That won't lose my contract here. I got Blake Miller above Caden Proctor.
Okay. Yeah.
And Monroe Freeling.
And Freeling.
Yeah.
Ballsy.
And in similar range as Maui Noah.
Ooh.
Don't tell anybody. But I think Maui Noah's got more of that guard versatility that he doesn't have.
Yeah.
So I got other takes too. But give me Blake Miller here for the Lions.
Done.
It's not a reach. He's an expected first rounder. He's going at 17. Jack Campbell went at 18. This is going to be the Lions getting back to the good football player pick.
Yep.
They're just going to pick the good football player at 17.
And even if it is a reach, the Lions have shown they don't
Proctor's smoke. I got to find out. That's all smoke. It's all smoke. There's no way the Lions are just like, hey, make sure you tell the world we love Caden Proctor. It's smoke. It's fake. They're not doing it. Blake Miller here. What's the chat saying?
But you buy into all the smoke.
No, not this year. It's all fake now.
All of it.
It's all fake. I'm going to be starting.
Maybe the trick is to be become discerning and identify like which is smoke and which is not, as opposed to just it's all smoke or none of it's smoke.
I know you got to. This just feels like
there's a middle course.
Why is why?
You need
They're so in on Caden Proctor. They're just so in on him. And then the world must know.
I mean, look, it may be smoke. It could be either. I'm not making a determination either way. But all that needs to happen for it to not be smoke is some random person within that Lions decision-making tree has talked to somebody who's then reported it. That's not it's not the most shocking thing in the world to happen.
It also, I mean, here's the thing too. The draft's funny. I repeat this all the time. Braden Fisk was going to be a first rounder for a team in the 20s a couple of years ago. He went at like 40 or whatever. The Rams traded up for him. He would have been picked at like 24, 25. He would have been picked somewhere in the mid-20s. I can't say who the team was. But the team had their first select. Their first choice was there. They made their pick. And then Fisk was their second choice. If their other guy was gone, it would have been Fisk. It's a 15-pick difference in where he ended up going. And forever in life, Braden Fisk would have been a first-rounder. We don't know how many of those things are true. The Lions could love Caden Proctor, but someone else that they love could fall, and they don't take him.
Well, that's why this reverse engineering...
So you don't really know.
Yeah, that's why this reverse engineering the draft stuff never works, because it's not just because a team did something. It's not necessarily a data point in your favor if there was another, confounding variable involved in that. Like you said, Braden Fisk not going in the first round does not mean any team would not have taken Braden Fisk in the first round had one other pick changed in the whole process.
Right. Puts the Vikings up at 18. And I'm going to be so cliche here, but it's not because of Harrison Smith. I just love the fit, and I think Dylan Thieneman's the right guy at this point. I could deviate, though. Did you go Casey Concepcion here last week?
Yes. We gave them a receiver. I think it was Concepcion.
Yeah. He's growing on me as an option because of the upside.
Yeah.
The movement, like the upside.
He's got
I ignore the...
There's quite a wagon attached to him now of hype people. People are really getting on the Casey Concepcion train. I get it. I'm not quite ready to go all the way to bat for him because the ball skill stuff does kind of scare me. But, like I said, if that was not a question mark, I think he would have a very good case to be wide receiver 1 in the draft.
Right. It's not just drop rate. It's just overall ball skills.
Overall ball skills as a composite, I don't love. But if you took that away, you would easily argue that he's wide receiver 1.
So I don't think that's the guy I would want for the Vikings. Like if the Vikings had the other receivers that I picked, maybe not
Vikings
Tyson.
Fans hate that because they picked up Addison's fifth-year option, so they've shown
that's one more year.
Right, they've shown faith in Addison in addition to having Jordan Jefferson and blah blah. Now,
that's the hedge of all hedges.
It's one more year of Jordan Addison. That does not necessarily mean they're committed to him long term, but whatever. Just saying, they'll be big mad if you do that.
I like making everybody's big mad at all times. This is the best mock you've ever seen. Does anybody think this is the best mock? Let me know in the chat. Is this the best mock draft?
I feel like that's a bad thing. If somebody actually loves it, it's probably not good.
What if I'm just I'm picking all the right players? I'm picking all the good players for your team to help your team win. There's good reasoning behind
Nobody
all
likes
this.
that.
I'm taking Thieneman here.
Chalky.
I hate it.
Then.
I hate it, but I'm taking Thieneman here for the Vikings.
Oh, now this is interesting.
The Panthers.
Yeah. With Monroe Freeling on the board.
I know.
And Kenyon Sadiq to anger the doctor.
So, by the way, I took Thieneman's free safety range and ball skills outstanding. I think he's a good fit. I don't think it's just this Harrison Smith white for white replacement deal. It's good value at this point. I think he'd be considered by the Panthers, and he'd be considered by the Cowboys at 20. He'd be considered by a lot of teams in this range. Steelers at 21. I think I gave him the Steelers at one point so they could get some, lose the geriatric secondary that they have in Pittsburgh. But Thieneman at 18 to the Vikings. Panthers at 19. Now, write this down. Smoke or true? They've had 30 visits with every receiver. Coffee's done. It's no longer staying hot. It's a long show. I might need a reload. That's good. You got the Stumptown over there.
Yeah.
Stumptown's good. Portland, Oregon based, I believe. Went to the original out there when we played.
Cool.
Stumptown's great.
Just whatever the packet is over there.
Write it down. I think the Panthers want one of these receivers. If Mekhi Lemon's there, Panther. If Omar Cooper Jr. is there, Panther. If Casey Concepcion's here, I don't know.
And he is.
I don't know.
That's the one I really like as a fit, actually. I think Concepcion turbocharges what they were doing with Jimmy Horn Jr. last year and fits perfectly alongside Coker and McMillan.
There it is.
Yeah, I like it.
That's what I did last night. Do I stick with it? Now, Sadiq here, the other option. So this would be an interesting debate. Hey, I'm the Panthers. They've done a pretty good job with the roster to the point where it's not like adding Jalen Phillips, Nick Scorton, Princely Uman-Mielen the last couple of years, Turk Wharton, like much better depth on the defensive line. Much better than they had a year ago at this time. They're not in an egregious spot from a roster perspective. Devin Lloyd at linebacker, right? They filled some of their needs in free agency and in the draft the last couple of years. If you're saying I need a playmaker, they don't have a good playmaking tight end. Do you look at Sadiq here? Or if you're just saying, hey, I know we've drafted a receiver. We go full Matt Millen here.
Yeah.
I know we've drafted a receiver in the first round each of the last 2 years. But
only one of them's good.
Only one of them's good.
Yeah.
Right? And the next guy is going to be too tough. The next guy could be Calvin. The Lions actually went 4 out of 5 years when they did it. The next guy could be better. Casey Concepcion would be a nice athletic complement to Teterow and McMillan.
I think it's a perfect fit. Now, the interesting thing, though, is Freeling being available here because, A, that doesn't happen very often, I think, in mock drafts, and B, as much as they did take care of the acute need at tackle, so they got Ike Ekwonu, their former first-round pick. He's coming off a major knee injury that's going to put him deep into the season, if at all, this year. They insulated themselves from that by signing Rasheed Walker, but they only gave him like a 1-year, $4 million deal when everyone thought he was going to get paid this offseason. So they're not tied to him long-term either. Freeling, as you talked about, being this developmental caliber tackle, but with crazy upside, given the size and athleticism, blah, blah. I mean, isn't that the perfect landing spot for him to go? You can IR Icky, you can start Rasheed Walker, and then Freeling can be developed for the year and take over next year.
It is on paper. It is. And like so, if I'm lower on Freeling, I would want to put him in a situation like that where he could maybe develop and we could slow play it a little bit. But if you're the Panthers, can you afford to do that? Year 2 of a Dr. Eager, year 3 of Dan Morgan.
The doctor regime.
Can the doctor come in?
Does the doctor have that kind of security?
Does he have that kind of security? Do they? You know, that's a fair question here. Can they do that? Can they play the long game? The other part is they got to make a decision on Bryce Young ASAP.
Yeah.
ASAP. And so you need more decision options. And so I love the Freeling concept here. I don't love Freeling as much as others. I get him as a first-round player. I'm trying to find the right fit for him, and I would say the Panthers could be one. But I think they have to get a pass catcher for Bryce Young, and I think they're doing a lot of work to find the right guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going Casey Concepcion here. I'm taking him over Kenyon Sadiq. I'm adding Concepcion to Teterow and McMillan, Xavier Legette. Just keep pushing him down. Jalen Coker's there. We got pass catchers now.
Yeah.
We're trying to run out of any excuse for Bryce Young to produce on a weekly basis, not every other week, not every third week. It's got to be weekly now.
You're basically combining what Legette and Jimmy Horn Jr. were providing to that offense in one player and bumping them both further down.
Yeah. And I think we start to get into – look, I think this is where the first round gets into – I think Concepcion and Freeling are similar players at different positions, as in I think there's some risk and upside all at the same time, right? There's some production risks with Concepcion and Freeling, but the upside, given the size of Freeling and the movement skills, the natural athleticism that Concepcion has, the upside's there. And I think that's where we are in the first round. So that's where I could be a little bit more aggressive, being aggressive here for the Panthers, taking Casey Concepcion at 19. Who said they wanted a star for their Panthers? Somebody wanted a star. Cowboys back on the clock at 20. Now, they went linebacker first time around.
Yep, Sonny Styles.
The cornerback group. We're going to get crazy here.
Whoa.
But we're not.
Top 2 win.
I'm going to consider being crazy here. So the consensus board, as of when I printed this out 4 or 5 days ago, still had Avion Terrell in the first. They had 3 first-round corners, right? So Delane, who went at 5, Jamad McCoy, who went at 14, Avion Terrell late first. But he's got this 4.6 something 40 on his pro day with the hamstring,
and then still work out. Like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, you can't do that. Like, it's forever. It's
Who
like
is
Keenan
looking
Allen.
after these people?
Keenan Allen is forever a 4.71 guy when he was running on like a busted knee, you know. And it's Keenan Allen ran 4.71 just because it's next to his. Like, forever, Terrell's going to be like a 4.64 guy, even though he's not.
Who is like agents are close enough to the thing where when Washington or whatever ran his 4.3 at the combine, they were able to get him on the phone and be like, shut it down. Job done. Walk away. Meanwhile, Avion Terrell like tweaks a hamstring during his pro day, and nobody's able to be like, hey, maybe you shouldn't do the rest of the workout on a bum hamstring. Instead, he does the whole thing, puts out awful workout numbers, and that's like, oh, Avion Terrell, who's up until now, it was like, that guy's got blazing speed. He never gets beat deep. But now it's like, well, now he runs a 4.6. You can't take him anywhere. Awful.
So now, my point is, the next 2 corners on the consensus board, or the next couple corners to discuss. Colton Hood is up there. Chris Johnson's getting some buzz from San Diego State.
Yep.
And, of course, my guy D'Angelo Pons. Brandon Cece. I wonder if any of those corners are in play, especially if it plays out like this. If Dallas is like, well, the next corner on the board is Avion Terrell to consensus. Would they take Chris Johnson this high? D'Angelo Pons this high? Like, what does Pons not do well? Fast, athletic, covers well. Mm-hmm. What else do you want at cornerback, people? Talk about him later. Just wondering if they're in play. I went a different route, though. Chat's asking about Monroe Freeling, and my answer to them is his name's not Tyler. So Dallas will not take him in the first round.
I've seen some people, though, suggest that they would be a sneaky team for offensive tackle because nobody's expecting it because they're Dallas and because they've invested in these tackles. However...
Well, Terrence Steele's at the end of his deal, I believe.
They reworked it, right? But I don't remember what the implications of reworking it were.
Steele's like 2-3 years away,
yeah,
removed from his best play.
Since the injury, he hasn't really been the same guy again.
No, Tyler Guyton's heading into year 3, and usually, I know we've talked about the Steelers, you have Broderick Jones heading into year 3. You don't normally give up on a tackle that you drafted in the first round heading into year 3. It's not normally the case because that's when they might, if a switch is going to flip, it's this year or next year. And you liked him enough to take him in the first round anyway. So I don't think this is Tyler Guyton insurance.
Right. They reworked Terrence Steele's contract, creating $13 million of cap space this year, which is maybe the reason they did it. But it's now a 3-year, $33 million contract with $22 million guaranteed, running through 2028, which means it's probably effectively a 2-year deal at this point.
Yeah, I would say this is less in Dallas's nature to try to future-proof. Not to not take a tackle. They take a lot of first-round offensive linemen. They're sharp in that sense. I don't think they're going to future-proof the position, though. So I think they're going back to defense. So I'm getting a little crazy here. At pick 20, the Dallas Cowboys are taking Cassius Howell out of Texas A&M. This is what I need on draft night. I need some wild cards, man. You think the stumpy arms are knocking them out of the first round? No, we're setting records here. Bain at 3,
20.
Howell at 20.
Wow.
We don't care. I like how John Ledger, he says 1v1 for 1-0. He's 1v1. He calls him the best 1v1 pass rusher in the draft.
Yeah. I think he may be right. He's so good. It's just now, 2 things. Number one, whatever about Bain's arm length, Cassius Howell's are literally like off the chart small. Like he is setting a
You got to give him a 10% bump because the combine tailor did it.
Yeah. He's setting a new bottom percentile by himself. Like that's where he is in the arm length thing. So that can't make you feel good. Number 2, it is also worth pointing out that when he faced really good tackles, he didn't have production. That's not great.
Fine. Whatever.
Those are 2 pretty concerning things when you're drafting a guy at 20.
I mean,
now, I love
him.
I love the guy, but...
Who doesn't have concerns at 20 in this draft?
I mean...
We all have... These are all second-round players that were taken in the first round these days. I'll give you one more added potential fit here for Dallas, for Howell. They're moving to this 3-4, and they're one of those teams that will drop their edge rushers into coverage a little bit more, theoretically, in this scheme. He's got about 200 snaps dropping into coverage. Now, I say this a lot, you'd never draft a first-round pass rusher because they could, play curl flat
Right.
pretty well. But it's tough for me to get out of my head him running the wheel with second-round tight end Mason Taylor breaking up a pass in 2024. Did a really nice job with that. That's just like an added bonus. So I think you're talking third down weapon, Cassius Howell.
It also
guy that can drop, guy that can rush the passer.
It also theoretically does protect his weaknesses more. Like you would feel better about him being, the outside linebacker in that 3-4 scheme. The further away from the center you can get him, the better.
Yeah, agreed. So I think that might be a good scheme fit. I don't know if Dallas would do it in the first, but with my point with this one is, I don't know. Like I'd love to grab a corner and a linebacker if I'm Dallas in this draft. I just don't know if it's going to play out like that. So get the next best thing. Give me a pass rusher. Steelers at pick 21 here. I'm not going to go Ty Simpson here. We haven't heard any buzz around the Steelers and Simpson, have we?
Not really.
As you know,
they still basically don't have a quarterback. Like, are they just rolling with Will Howard?
I don't know. Pony is upset that
Shocker.
the unsigned Aaron Rodgers is not at voluntary minicamp. That's a new one for Pony. Why is it the unsigned 43-year-old
Why didn't
at
Rodgers show up
voluntary
to camp?
minicamp?
Turns out he's not actually under contract with anybody.
But I don't know if that's because they're just expecting
if he did show up to camp, he wouldn't be allowed to do anything because he's not under contract.
that they're just rolling back with Rodgers. Like Rodgers has nowhere else to go.
No, but I also don't know that they would want him. Like it's a new. I mean, I guess we're just assuming that it's like the Brett Favre thing. You just don't talk to him until training camp or until after training camp in Favre's case. But like, don't even get him on the phone until late August.
Someone in the chat saying, I won't be disappointed by drafting Klubnik. Do you mean like here in the first round or just generally? Now, some people, namely my 7-year-old who was 6 last year, had Will Howard going number 1 overall in the draft last year.
National title winner.
And Cam Ward fell to the Steelers, ironically, at pick 21. But maybe just roll with Will Howard here.
Well, that's the alternative if you're not getting Rodgers back, right? Because you're not starting Mason Rudolph.
Maybe they go Ty Simpson. But not here at 21. We are going to go Vanga Ioane. Second time we're just going to...
Another team not taking Freeling.
Yeah. So, could they... So, okay, I thought about Freeling, right? I went through that. I did it.
Whatever gets Broderick Jones off the field.
But Broderick Jones went to Georgia. And you just see, the Steelers fans like, oh man, we can't get another Georgia tackle. Can't get another. They're gonna be upset.
Oh, that's why Freeling won't be good.
That's why you can't draft Freeling.
Okay.
Because the fans are gonna say, it didn't work. We got the next Broderick Jones. This guy Freeling.
Yeah.
They're gonna be pissed if you take Monroe Freeling to replace Broderick Jones. Now the one thing I can't figure out is if Brady Cook there. What's his name? Dylan Cook. Was he good?
Right.
Or was Aaron Rodgers just getting rid of the ball so quickly? Because he was getting rid of the ball.
And he had a lot of help from
very quickly.
Like alignment-wise. They gave him a lot of help as well.
But
like he might also be pretty good. Like he might also
be
the
a
answer,
find.
But we haven't seen that yet.
He might be a find at
Even
left
though
tackle.
He was okay.
I'm not completely sold. It's like, is tackle in play? Yeah, like I considered Freeling here. Considered him. Until I just heard, I would put myself, I'm doing PM team. I'm got Mulsey and Pony on the line, and everybody's livid that they just drafted another Georgia tackle to replace Broderick Jones. So I didn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's a glare. Well, it is a glare.
And they would go the Penn State guy.
Right. I'm not saying it is a glaring need, though I think it probably is. But with Freeling sitting there at 21, I would find that pretty hard to pass up on.
Ioane and his power, just plug and play right guard here for the Steelers.
Wow.
Right guard, no, or left guard.
Everyone snipes the Chargers.
They got left guard for Spencer Anderson. Ioane's plug and play.
Poor old Chargers sitting there at 22, watching Ioane go 21 every time.
So now the Chargers are up at 22. I didn't do my stuff here. We're already past 20, huh? I will now take a quick break.
Just 2 hours in.
Just 2 hours. What else are we going to do? Wait till I do round 2 tomorrow by myself. Quick break to talk about our friends over at Root Insurance. Root Insurance believes that good drivers deserve better rates. So they've created a new kind of car insurance that rewards good drivers in an easy-to-use app. Traditional car insurance companies focus on demographics like age, zip code, occupation, and credit score to price your coverage. But when Root offers a rate, your behavior behind the wheel gets more weight than any other single factor. They didn't use occupation or education level to negatively affect your rate. While you drive, Root gathers and analyzes data from your smartphone sensors. And after a few weeks, you get a car insurance quote based primarily on your driving. Save up to 44% off your initial Root quote after you take the test drive. Need a tow truck, jump start, or lock your keys in the car? The Root will cover the help you need to get back on the road when you opt into roadside assistance. The Root app makes it easy to edit your coverage, update your policy, or file a claim in just 3 minutes. You get started today at Root.com. After Ledyard left the other day, I did some draft bets. I accepted some bets on our behalf.
Oh, yeah?
I was doing some. It's just so tough to monologue, man. You don't realize how tough it is. I did the paper pop like Josh Pate does all the time.
And yet every
people
time it
don't.
comes
I'm saying general you, not you specifically, but a general you. People don't realize how tough the people that do the monologue shows. Incredible respect for them. Just you and the camera.
It's crazy.
Just you and the camera.
But like every time you keep acting like it's no big deal. You know, every time this is a theory, you're like, don't worry, I'll monologue it. It'll be fine. And I'm like, that doesn't sound like it's easy to do. And you're like, not a problem.
It's all about preparation, though. Preparation. Let me recap really quick here, and then we'll get back to it. Okay, so we did the pick top 10 earlier. Pick 11, Miami Dolphins took Francis Mauigoa from Miami to play tackle/guard. Dallas Cowboys at 12 took Sonny Styles, linebacker of Ohio State. The Rams take Jordan Tyson, wide receiver out of Arizona State at 13. 14, the Ravens take Jermod McCoy, cornerback out of Tennessee. Bucs at 15 are going to take Hakeem Mesidor, the edge rusher out of Miami. The Jets at 16 are taking Omar Cooper, wide receiver out of Indiana, which is just a stone-cold lock, apparently. Mm-hmm. Pick 17, the Lions are taking Blake Miller, Clemson offensive tackle. Vikings are taking Dylan Thieneman at 18, of course. Safety out of Oregon is what they do. Casey Concepcion is the pick at 19 for the Carolina Panthers, wide receiver out of Texas A&M. Cassius Howell is the pick at 20 for the Dallas Cowboys, edge rusher out of Texas A&M. And then the Steelers are taking Venga Ioane, the guard out of Penn State, at pick 21. That puts the Chargers up on the clock at 22. They're pissed off they don't get their guard.
Yeah, very.
However, Caden Proctor is on the board. You've liked this. Did you do this last week?
I think so. I've certainly.
He's athletic enough. He's 350, but athletic enough for Mike McDaniel's scheme.
I'm not saying he's the. I see him in a similar way to the way a lot of people see Mauigoa. I think Proctor's a guard, and I think he could be a very good one.
So I think that's what we're doing. I know. By the way, it didn't work with Mekhi Becton last year, but that's not.
Yeah, there are people that are upset that. Proctor, Mike McDaniel, zone blocking, bad fit. I don't think that's true. For a start, he's not moving into guard because he doesn't have athleticism. Like, he's fast. He's got great feet for a guy that size. He can move. And inside a guard, like he's got the required athleticism to make any block in any offensive system as a guard. I don't know that I necessarily want him out as a tackle in pass protection where he's got to not just move, but redirect, like shift, dance on his feet. I feel better about him inside that way. But I'm not like, you don't look at this guy and go, well, he's 350, therefore he can't play a Mike McDaniel zone blocking scheme. I don't think that's true at all.
Plus, when he makes the backside cutoff, his strength, like, he locks that thing in with his strength. So, yes, his name's Venga. You take the V-E-G-A, that's his nickname, and then that's how you pronounce V-E-G-A with an N, just like Tua Tunga Vailoa. You had the N in there. To the chat that was asking. Venga Ioane. That's what we're doing. Caden Proctor. But somebody was asking about the Venga. So Proctor's going to come in and play guard. Fuanga, right? Yes.
Tuolangi.
People yelling at me about that one too.
Yeah. Before. Go watch rugby. You see how they're properly pronounced. Tuolangi as opposed to Tuolagi.
There you go. So give me Caden Proctor, pick 22 for MVP, Justin Herbert up front.
Right.
Proctor at 22 for the Chargers. I like him better at guard maybe anyway. Then you get some tackle security as well for your two. Rashawn Slater coming off of his injury and the whole thing. Mm-hmm. Philadelphia Eagles at 23. Now we're talking.
You need you got to get the graphic people. They got to label it as guard.
Put Proctor as a guard. So we don't need a tackle. Yeah, we don't need a tackle. Put a G.
The only guy that questioned it assumed correctly that you're moving him into guard. I'm like, yes, but you know they don't.
Guard. Yeah,
they'll be mad.
Put him in guard. He's going to play guard. So we don't need a tackle. We put him at guard. That's what we're doing. Philadelphia Eagles. They're the landing spot for Monroe Freeling.
Ooh.
That's where Freeling's
Lane
going.
Johnson's successor.
Yes.
Man, how does Howie do it? How does
Howie do it?
Every season.
I still don't love Freeling as a prospect. I don't think he's a slam dunk. I don't think he's.
But other people do.
This is going to be interesting because he's got incredible length. It shows up too, like his long arm, like when he keeps rushers at bay, like it is very impressive. And I could see where the Tices love him, and people might like Freeling for what he can become. I don't want to draft the guy in the top 15, maybe even 20 for what he can become, if I can avoid it. But I was looking for the right spot for Freeling, where he could sit behind 2 starting tackles. You got Jordan Mailata, you got Lane Johnson. He could be the successor. I think this is great for the Eagles. Now, they might have to really think about receiver if there's still some A.J. Brown movement still to come. But there's some receivers off the board.
No Jeff Stoutland University anymore, of course.
No, but it's still a good environment. It's still an environmental factor, right? That is positive for the Eagles here. So I think it's still the right type of landing spot for Freeling, where you don't have to plug and play right now.
Yeah.
And now tackles are coming off the board for the Browns.
Oh, I love it as A, it's value relative to where everyone else has him. B, as a developmental Lane Johnson succession plan, I think it's smart as well. So, yeah. Other than no longer having Jeff Stoutland in the building, it's great.
Am I colluding to get Sadiq at what? 29? No. He won't make it to 29. Oh, that's a good one. Should they trade up? Oh, is anybody trade up worthy right now?
The Browns might panic after their guy went Freeling and try and trade back if this happened.
They could.
Of course, they could also try and trade up one spot to stop.
Who's trade up worthy? Who's trade up worthy right now? Sadiq?
Sadiq's on the board. Falk is still on the board. People are talking about him crazy high.
That's where I put my stamp on this. I'd rather Falk.
If you love the Caleb Banks of the world, he could be trade up worthy.
All of those guys, I think I would take the rest of these guys in the second.
Yeah,
maybe
it's all
Sadiq.
about,
I'll tell you this.
What the one team would do. You know,
the 2 players that I think remaining, I'd be okay in the first. And Malachi Lawrence is still out there. Some people love him. The 2 people I'd be okay with, Sadiq in the first, certainly.
Yeah.
And Emmanuel McNeil-Warren.
Sure.
I'd rather the rest of the guys in the second round.
All of them.
Yeah.
I have no problem with Caden McDonald in the first either.
Yeah, I get McDonald. I get Denzel Boston. I'd be fine with Boston, too. But we're getting lower and lower here.
Jacob Rodriguez.
What if Jacob Rodriguez, too? Did I sneak him? Oh, I didn't. Debated him in a few different spots, though. Debated him in a few different spots. All right, so the Browns are up here at 24. I already took Carnell Tate at 6. What if we went double receiver? Just go Tate and Boston here. Because we keep saying tackle.
Yeah.
But what if they got 2 receivers instead?
What if they just roll with DeJuan Jones?
I did take a tackle, though, in last year. I went with another tackle. And that's Arizona State's Max Ahanicher. I'm going to take him at 24 for the Browns.
Vrabel's guy.
That's the biggest news Vrabel's been a part of the last few weeks. Was his interactions.
The last time we saw Mike Vrabel was
Max.
Getting the last physical with Max Ahanicher.
From the Mike Vrabel's part of the Bill Belichick coaching tree
After
studio.
After that,
here.
Mike Vrabel's news presence in the news cycle simply ceased.
That was it. I haven't seen anything since.
No, nothing. By the way, how funny is it that The Athletic is now running an investigation into Dan Rosini? Like, I mean, okay, we haven't been part of The Athletic or anything, but from limited experience inside organizations of similar types of things in The Athletic, the idea that any of them running like an internal investigation into something like this is just a joke. Like, what?
Don't worry.
How does that work?
HR's on it.
This is one rando HR. What is she doing? He or she, like, calling up Diana and be like, so what happened? All right, case closed. Next.
HR's got to be livid.
Can you give me Vrabe's phone number so I can get his take on it?
HR hasn't done anything until they made you take they made you take compliance videos in January. They haven't done anything since then. Right. Now they got to run an internal investigation.
Are they now like chasing down the paparazzi photographer to be like, hey, what happened outside of the frame?
Don't worry, HR's on it.
Just unbelievable.
We'll take care of this. Investigation
concluded. Wait for the results.
And then obviously you're going to get ChatGPT to write up the investigation results for you. Here's what we found. Put that into, press form.
I'm biting my tongue. I'm biting my tongue. I'm biting my tongue.
Anyway.
Just send the investigators to Indy during the week, and you see what you got to see.
Mm-hmm. Now you're becoming the people you hate. Were you were you sitting on information? Admittedly, you're not a journalist of any description.
No, I can.
You don't even have a master's in it.
I can know whatever I know and not have.
You're under no obligation to disseminate that to the public.
I am not.
Other than potentially your obligation to the listeners.
Oh, man. We're not touching on that situation, are we?
I mean, no more than we just have.
Okay. It's bad for everybody involved, if it's all true.
Yeah.
Looks bad. It's probably bad. It's worse for the job than it is for it's bad for personal lives of both, but
it's bad for it's pretty rough for everybody. I mean, imagine, two spouses presumably found out through this. That can't be fun.
Well, I like the theories that one of those spouses was hiring a PI because those were somewhat professionally done.
Yeah, it sounded like that was like not a sting job, but like it's not like they just stumbled upon it and took a photo on their phone. It's like this was somebody looking for this.
Yeah. So it's all happening. Anyway, Ahanicher is going to go to the Browns.
I did that right, yeah.
Because he passed the core strength test that Mike put him through at Arizona State's Pro Day. I'm assuming.
That's wading into there's punchlines to be followed up with there, and I'm not doing it. So let's get the hell out of this.
Bears at 20. Ahanicher's going to the Browns, and what they're going to do. So he's a late bloomer at the position with good movement skills.
Mm-hmm.
Played right tackle in college. Now I know the Browns have done this right tackle, left tackle, so they're willing to do it. They've done it with Jedrick Wills. They've done it with DeJuan Jones. They're going to do it with Ahanicher and give him a shot at left tackle because he's athletic enough to do it and go get him. And there's presumed upside there.
Okay. Potentially doesn't need to start day one as well because of DeJuan Jones. Maybe
right.
They can slow play it.
So that's the play there for the Browns. That's why they're doing it.
Okay.
Bears at pick 25 here. Now, this is where we've given them Caden McDonald before. We've given them various pass rushers. I saw Greg Gabriel out there saying it's not going to be Keldrick Falk because he doesn't have any sacks.
Is there a more cantankerous old crank than Greg Gabriel on
best.
Twitter? I saw him out there ripping Ollie Connolly for tweeting about the Reuben Bain stuff.
There's some people that I don't enjoy their interactions at first, and then you just come around to like it's good for all of us.
Once you take it as a joke, it's fun.
Yeah, it's good for society. The Greg's Mona Lisa was the last year Fields was the starting quarterback, and he's like, "Are you telling me the Bears, the so-called experts who predicted the Bears are going to win 3 games, think they're now going to go 1-13 or whatever it is, 0-12 going, and then they did."
Yeah.
And it was just
the people I love are like, you talked about how I can see the bear trap coming and step into it anyway. There are some people, though, that just never learn from the bear trap, right? I at least rarely step into the same bear trap every time.
Yeah.
Greg will just walk into the same trap, and then it's like the game resets, and he gets to the same point in the level. Is like, yeah, this is fine. Walks into it again, and then the game resets. Like he died. You know what I mean? He reboots every time and just dies at the same part of the game repeatedly, over and over and over again, because he's an absolute boomer and learns from nothing. Like he stopped learning information back in the late 1980s sometime, and no new information is entering his brain. So it's just, everything is just like, well, this will never happen again. Like, how can you possibly not have learned this lesson by now? So he's just out here tweeting as if, everything's in absolutes. Everyone's a moron that disagrees. Like he's tweeting like he got Twitter in 1989 and is just tweeting as if that's a thing. It's amazing to watch. Like he's one of those people out there that you would need to change absolutely nothing to make his account a parody account, only it isn't. It's just an old cranky man who tweets like that. It's hilarious.
Greg Gabriel, former, was he GM? I always say he was like
something like
scouting director or whatever he was for the Bears.
High personnel.
Very high up there.
Yeah.
I think he works for the Shrine Game now, Renner was telling us, on the scouting team with Renner and the group there. So that's Greg. I'm always fascinated, too.
That must be.
Because he doesn't cover the Bears, but he used to, almost run the Bears. He was top 3 at the Bears or whatever.
He's got like a radio show, doesn't he?
So he knows the Bears inside and out and talks mostly about the Bears.
Yeah.
So they're not going to take Keldrick Falk because he doesn't have a lot of sacks,
Yeah.
which is fine.
And that would never happen.
That would never happen. Oh man, I hope they take him. It's like that's what I'm rooting for.
But he's also like there's so every and again there's always receipts, but like they pull out the same two things. But like there's so many with Greg, he's immune to it now.
It's so good.
You don't know what to pull out.
It's so good. Anyway, Bears at 25. Hagel's just edge of his seat. What's Steve going to do? He said some of my picks have been wild. Is this the worst mock ever?
Probably.
Okay. I'm going Toledo safety Emmanuel McNeil-Warren
Oh.
for the Bears here.
Okay.
So I'm not going defensive line
No.
because I can't take Keldrick Falk with no sacks.
Right.
And Bears fans are pissed that
They
they see
hate the
Caden McDonald every
yeah.
week. And TJ Parker, I don't know. I just don't know. Can't get there, Jim. I don't know if I can get there with TJ. And Peter Woods, I wish I could get there with him too. I don't know. But any of those guys would have been great. Like if months ago, if you told me TJ Parker or Peter Woods would be there, but I want to take those guys in the second round now. So I'm going Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. I think he played box, impact run stopper at the safety position, good range and coverage. I think he's just a good overall player.
Okay.
And that's your safety for the Bears. Bills up at pick 26. Now, I kept giving them Cassius Howell. He's off the clock, off the board.
Mm-hmm.
The Bills, I've wanted to give them a nice pass rusher. I'll tell you what, Jacob Rodriguez would be a nice fit here too. Ooh. I think this is when you start to get into, is Jacob Rodriguez a fit for them, for the Texans, for the Chiefs?
I still don't understand why he isn't higher on the consensus board. I just don't get it. I don't see the negative.
So Rodriguez is interesting. I don't know if I'm going to sneak him into the first here or not. He's interesting because I think there are some plays where like the athleticism looks okay, just average. He ran okay. But he reminded me, Rodriguez, of the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu, coming out of college. Not obviously different positions. Remember, Tyrann Mathieu was just such a good playmaker.
Yes.
Forced fumbles, just the ball magnet aspect of it. I don't. The analyst in me should not care about that, right? There's no way you could force. What do you have, like 6 or 7 forced fumbles last year?
Yeah.
There's no way you could do that every year. But he's so good with the peanut punch. Like he was doing it at the Senior Bowl. It was like they're thumping. They're not even tackling. He's forcing fumbles there. He's so good at it.
Yeah.
He is going to be a turnover machine, much like Tyrann Mathieu was. But same thing with Mathieu. It wasn't like Mathieu got beat a lot one-on-one, but you just wanted him on your team. Like he was the playmaker, whether he was playing safety, whether he was playing nickel, it doesn't matter. Like he was just making plays. Our coworker here, the Honey Badger.
Well, he also Mathieu had the thing of like, what is he? Is he a slot? Is he a safety? Like he was one of those players in college that shows up every now and again where they're just so good, you basically deploy him in a position that doesn't exist in the NFL and say, just go make plays all the time, right? And a lot of the times, those guys get to the NFL. You can't do that to them in the NFL because that position doesn't exist. Nobody effectively is that special, and so they just have to conform to a regular position, and sometimes they're not as good at that. Mathieu ended up being just as talented a playmaker as that you could play him either at slot or at safety, and it didn't make any difference. He was still really good. But I think that was like a big kind of question mark about his game is like, just does he fit into an NFL defense? You don't have that same concern with Rodriguez. Like it's not like he plays a weird
he's a linebacker
position. Like he plugs straight in as a linebacker, and he's probably going to be really good. He's
good in the run game. I've got some questions in coverage. Again, I think he's an okay athlete. He's pretty good. He's athletic enough. Let some stuff in behind him. Was part of some coverage busts, things that were probably on him. But the dude's a playmaker. He's a playmaker. Multiple one-handed interceptions and forced fumbles, and I think he should be in consideration in the back end of the first for a lot of teams.
And again, turned out to be a very good athlete.
Yeah, he was fine. Like it was fine athletically.
86th percentile 3-cone, 88th percentile vertical, 84th percentile 40-yard dash. These are very good numbers.
Yeah, I guess I shouldn't downplay it at all. It didn't look special athletically on the field, other than like his interceptions and everything. He looked actually really good with the ball in his hands after the catch. When he was
right. The point is, once he did his testing, it was like, oh, the guy who's like, up until that point, people had been questioning his athleticism, and then it's like, okay, but now all the testing numbers say he's actually a really high-end athlete. So what's our red flag here?
Yeah, there's far fewer, especially in a draft where we are where we are. Where I think we're starting to get into second-round type of players at the back end of the first round. Oh, man. Isn't he a good fit for the Bills, though?
Yeah.
Matt Milano getting older.
Right.
So I'll tell you what I did last night. Talk me into this one, which one I should go. I went Caden McDonald in my mock last night.
Mm-hmm.
That's the guy that they've been missing, right? Deion Walker's 360 pounds, but he's not this guy. He's not the line resetter. And I still think I might do this for the Bills. And look, by the way, Rodriguez helps your run defense quite a bit as well.
Yeah.
But if I'm the Bills, I want to continue to get after the quarterback with different body types. But, man, I want to avoid – I know it's a whole new system and it's Jim Leonard coming in, but I want to avoid these games that happen every few years where you just get run all over and it feels soft up front. Caden McDonald has a chance to reset that and reset the line of scrimmage, man.
Yeah. I mean, you would assume that's going to shift schematically as well with the change in coach because that, I think, has been a feature and a bug of that defense that they do invite the run more or they did invite the run more than most defenses in the NFL. And then every now and again, they're sufficiently soft against the run that it becomes genuinely problematic in the game as opposed to what you're trying to get them to do anyway.
So that's what's so tempting. The Rodriguez discussion, I think, is a really good one. And I think it's good for the Bills. I think it'd be good for a lot of different teams here. I'm going to go Caden McDonald, though. I'll stick with my guns from last night when I did this. Caden McDonald to the Bills. That's your defensive tackle. Different style than Deion Walker, but they could both play next to each other. You still have Ed Oliver. You have TJ Sanders. We're just getting deeper and deeper on that defensive line. Different types of bodies that that offensive lines have to block, and McDonald brings a run-stopping presence that they don't have. That's not what Deion Walker is as a run stopper. He's like a boomer bust, make plays in the backfield type. McDonald is going to, they always say command double teams, but like literally if you block him one-on-one, the center's moving back.
Yeah.
Multiple yards. That's what's happening. All right, 49ers are up at pick 27. Let's speed up here. Speed round. You having fun?
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing all the work. You're just hanging out.
I know.
Right? Just collected a paycheck this week. Kenyon Sadiq to the Niners. Finally, Sadiq off the board here.
Wow.
For the Niners. Is this too low for Sadiq? I like Sadiq. I talked myself into all these other players at different positions.
I mean, a lot of these tight ends that are talked about as, a first-round tight end is rare. Particularly one where, again, it's not like he's the complete, unquestioned, he's got everything. It's like he's an unusual type of tight end, so you're going to have to deploy him in a specific way. Those guys rarely go in the first round.
All right. So that's what I'm doing. That's your Niners analysis. Get Sadiq. And by the way, I don't know if he's got the instincts to be a running back, but he's got the athleticism to do it. And Kyle Shanahan, we're going to dabble. We're going to take some handoffs. Kyle's going to play around with it. We got Sadiq and Kittle, at least for a little bit of time.
Your plan.
What's that?
You got Kyle to buy into your plan.
Oh, absolutely. That's definitely part of our plan. Getting Sadiq. Sadiq, Kittle, you got Pearsall, you got Mike Evans. You got dudes to throw to over
Kittle, by the way, is also probably a bigger injury question mark than people are talking about. I mean, didn't he do his Achilles and it was late in the season?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's not you're getting Kittle back 100% day one. This might take a while.
All right. What if somebody wanted to trade back in?
Kittle will probably be back on the field pretty quickly, but the return from these guys coming back off Achilles has not been smooth necessarily. Now, admittedly, most of them have been older people than Kittle, but still.
Yeah, I think Sadiq to the Niners is nice here at 27.
Plus, you got the substation.
Plus the substation.
Trying to heal with that going on.
Yeah, Sadiq's jacked enough. He's
immune.
He won't deal with the substation.
Yeah.
He might offset it. He might balance it out. Texans at 28. They're the tough one, right? Because you hate drafting for need, but you want to have a fit, right? You want to have a place, and it's where's the massive need for Houston here?
Yeah, they seem to be on a mission to upgrade the depth in the secondary, so maybe they would go for a corner. Yeah, they could also. We've given them defensive tackles quite a lot.
I've loved the idea of, because they're so good defensively, they could swing for the home run.
Exactly.
The
yeah,
Caleb
because they
Banks
don't,
type,
because
Kristen
they don't
Miller.
have the need. Maybe they can just say, "Hey, we're going to go with Caleb Banks, and if he hits, this becomes the most insane defensive line in the NFL."
You literally can never have too many defensive linemen because, first off, they rotate.
Yeah.
If you wanted to, Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter, they don't come off the field a ton, but edge. They get some snaps from edge 3 historically, the Derek Barnett types. Like you could use a third edge. Like if Cassius Howell was here for them as a DPR type, and you start, it might not be the best group to play NASCAR and move around, but like that could be in play. But your first thing you said about corner or about the secondary in depth, I'm looking at 2 of my favorite corners, Chris Johnson and D'Angelo Pons. And I look at Pons, and I think he's perfectly equipped to play outside at 5'8", but he's perfectly equipped to play on the inside as well. And he hits hard, and he can play man coverage, he can play the one-on-ones that they want to play, and he gives you some of that security. If, first off, Kamari Lassiter, we're really looking to the future here, would have to get paid in a couple of years. Can we afford Kamari Lassiter and Derek Stingley 3 years from now? Getting way out there. So does this give you some security? And I think Pons can play inside, can play outside. So he becomes your third corner, but with some versatility. Inside, outside, speed, man coverage ability, and I want to get D'Angelo Pons at the first round in my mock draft. Is that crazy?
It's not crazy because he's really, really good. Like if he was 5'11", I think he would be unquestionably a first-round corner. Like, it wouldn't even be a conversation. We would be talking about him in the Devin Witherspoon type of bracket, right? But because he's 5'8", okay, it's 5'8" or whatever, but he's under 5'9", which is crazy.
How
small.
tall is Jair? Is Jair
5'11", right?
Is he that tall?
I think so.
I thought he felt on the smaller side.
10 or 11, but it's not under 9 anyway.
Because that's if he's a little bit taller, he's Jair Alexander to me.
Jair Alexander is 5'10".
5'10". So he's like 2 inches away from being Jair Alexander.
Right.
Who, by the way, when we first called him a first rounder, it was like, he's undersized relative. You usually get the 6 foot type of first round corners. I like Pons a lot, man.
He's really good, but it's like it is genuine. It's single digits percentile size across the board, and that again, it's like historical outlier, blah blah blah. It's like that's the only reason he's not a consensus first round draft pick.
This is what's tricky for me, man. These are my team that I work with. There's a lot of players I want in the second round. There's a lot of team players that I want in the second round that I want to be available. So, anyway, I'm taking Pons to the Texans here at 28.
Second percentile height, 98th percentile vertical jump. So look, he might not start off very high,
6'3" in
but
the
he
air.
can get high. Yeah,
He's a 6'3" corner in the air. I'm doing it. What do you think, Texans fans? I mean, it's not about replacing Jalen Petrie. It's just adding more versatility to the secondary.
Yeah.
And Petrie's been fine.
And depth.
Yes, in depth. And Petrie's been fine, but it frees him up to do a little bit more at safety. And listen, you're trying to beat the Chiefs. Like, you're trying to beat the best teams.
I mean, we saw last
Pons
year.
matches up with Chiefs receivers really well, and they match up with the teams you need to beat.
We saw last year what happened the second anybody got hurt in that secondary. It became a massive problem. So they seem to be on a mission to upgrade that, and that might be worth a low first-round pick.
It's in my nature to have less confidence at the cornerback position than others.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to throw that out the window with my D'Angelo Pons confidence. He might be the best corner in the draft, Sam. He should be going 5 instead of Delane. Boom! All right, Chiefs are up here at pick 29.
Put that out there. That'd go. That'd be spicy. Mekhi Lemon at number 9 overall, back at 29.
I'm going to show you Pons' number later. I had a crazy one for the Chiefs. Chiefs fans are going to be pissed. I think whoever drafts Keldrick Falk is going to be mad, right?
Not at 29. I think this seems like good value at this spot.
So that's what I had them doing. I have got them going Keldrick Falk here. They like power more than burst and speed. Malachi Lawrence is on the board. Do you want to balance that out with Lawrence? Are they going to say he's too FAU for us? That didn't work last time. We like power players better. The length of Keldrick Falk. But I think he's a good football player if he starts to go between like 28 and 45.
Yes.
You know?
Coming out of the combine, when was it Sando did that surveying of a half a dozen, executives or whatever, he was in the top 5 for these people. That to me is kind of crazy. But he's 19th on the consensus board. If you're talking about him going at 29, that feels like good value. The reasons people like him as a prospect are all valid and legitimate. Like, he is athletic, he's young. There's a lot of potential upside there. It's just I don't want to take that at 5 overall. I want to take that the ass end of the first round and into the second round if I could get it.
Yeah. So that's what I'm doing. I'm taking Keldrick Falk here.
Done.
We took Mekhi Lemon at 9.
Yep.
So you had your playmaker for Mahomes. We got our defensive end here. I say we want to improve the pass rush. We don't know that we'll definitely do that with Falk, but you're going to get a good run defender, a guy that can move around the defensive line, and he's young and there's pass rush upside.
Yep.
There is upside there. He's a good athlete with some length. Puts the Dolphins up on the clock at pick 30. We took
Francis Maui-Noah.
Maui-Noah, tackle/guard at pick 11. I'm going receiver now.
Ooh.
I'm going Denzel Boston for the Dolphins here at pick 30. I like Boston. I think he's fine in the back end of the
somebody to throw to.
Yes. They need some semblance of receiver, and they've got more picks. They might do it all on day 2.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm taking Denzel Boston here at pick 30. So you got 2 offensive players here. Would I love a defensive end? Maybe. If the right corner's there, maybe. But Pons is off the board. So Denzel Boston.
Yeah. I mean, they have so many needs that pretty much anywhere is a valid option.
Patriots at 31. This is where I'm going to go a little bit off of what I would do, I think. Because
what would Vrabes do?
Honitcher's off the board. So we can't go with the guy that he was tussling with in Arizona. But defensive end, receiver. So Boston, I think, would be in play here, but he's off the board. Falk would be in play. Edge rushers would be in play. Caden McDonald, a lot of players that are now gone. I'm going to trust a former guest. John Ledyard has he would love this pick. He has Malachi Lawrence as his top edge rusher.
Well, yeah.
I don't, but I get it.
Right.
You see the athleticism, the agility, the
burst.
speed, the burst. You see all the twitchiness that you want in an edge rusher. And because it's 1 year of production for Malachi Lawrence. I hate that. The same way, I hate 1 year of production.
Yeah.
I like multiple years of production. But we're into this range of this is worth a shot late first and into the second.
Yeah, I mean, his spider chart is nuts. He's the 95th percentile or better in the 40, the vertical, and the broad jump, 87th percentile in the 10-yard split. I mean, again, you said, look, if there's an area, and you're not necessarily talking about, you were talking more about the testing on people in-game, the in-game stuff. But it's it only really matters at the extremes. I mean, this is the extreme. He's an elite level athlete based off those testing numbers.
So that's what we're doing. Malachi Lawrence to the Patriots here. And I hate it because I want to like TJ Parker, and I want to take my thought process here is I'm gonna enjoy taking TJ Parker in the second. I think I'll be fine with that. Lawrence has the first round type of movement skills and ability, but just 1 year of production. Only about 1,300 something snaps in his career too, so that works both ways, right? I'd like to see it more often, but that room to grow, and he started that growth last year.
Yep.
Pick 32, Seattle Seahawks, defending Super Bowl champions. I'll tell you what I did here, Sam. See what you think. In my first iteration here, because I think Malachi Lawrence would have been nice for them too to replace Boye Mafe and just add to that rotation. But since he's off the board, I took cornerback Chris Johnson from San Diego State.
Okay.
Is that crazy?
No. People are talking about him as sneaking into the first round. Coming out of the Senior Bowl, he impressed me at the Senior Bowl. He was sort of visibly, fluid, athletic, moved really well, was in good position all the time. I thought I was going to like him a lot coming out of the Senior Bowl. And then when I went to his tape, it was just more inconsistent than I thought it was going to be. So I kind of cooled off on that a bit. But I could absolutely see people talking themselves into him being a first rounder. And again, once you get beyond the top 2 corners in this draft, and depending on how you value or are concerned about Pons being 5'8" and 5'8", I think you could talk yourself into any of the next group of corners going at the bottom of the first.
It's going to be a really interesting secondary draft to me. I feel like everybody in this draft class plays the run well. Secondary, corners, safeties. I think you got a lot of good run supporters, and he's that guy. He's good enough coverage, footwork, finishes his tackle, runs through ball carriers. Like, there's a lot of players in this draft at corner and safety that I think fit that description. Like, you just good physical football players, and I think he's got elements of that as well. So that's what I'm doing. I'm taking Chris Johnson here for the Seattle Seahawks. I'd consider the right edge rusher here. There's not enough. I don't want to take Jadarian Price here.
Right.
I don't want to take a running back this high, despite, they have Charbonnet coming off the injury. Ken Walker's leaving. I know that's a need. I'd rather attack that later if I'm Seattle. So I'm going to go Chris Johnson from San Diego State.
All right. I haven't seen that, I don't think, before to the Seahawks, but it makes some sense.
Yeah, I could see them doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my mock. That's it. What do you think, man? Not the worst?
It's an all right mock. It's an all right mock.
It's an all right mock.
Mm-hmm. Don't hate it. Don't love it. It's fine. It's middle of the road.
Give me some, surprising picks you liked, picks you don't like?
Surprising picks. Mekhi Lemon at 9 to the Chiefs, definitely surprising.
I like that one. I think the Chiefs will like that one.
Blake Miller at 17, even though everyone has told you they're taking Caden Proctor.
No,
surprising.
I said nope.
Cassius Howell at 20 to the Cowboys, probably the most surprising pick in the first round.
Interesting, yeah.
And then the rest, I think I could see. Everything's
Great. We'll put it out there. We'll put it out there on social. It might be the worst mock ever. We'll see. We'll see. It's mostly it's a lot of what I would consider. How's that?
Yeah.
What I would consider, but also trying to get in the headspace of the teams as well. It's not exactly what I would do.
No, never is. Never giving us the full unvarnished.
Because I'd be trading
There's
down.
always a little layer of
I'd be trading down.
obfuscation in your content.
I'd just be
now.
trading down right after 7. See you later. I'm out of here. Anyway, that was fun. I enjoyed it. A lot of talking for me. So we've got Mike Renner's joining the show on Wednesday. We're going to get to some draft sleepers.
Excellent.
TBD on what we have for Thursday, but we're 1 week out, week from Thursday, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's the draft. It's all happening. And if you don't know, we'll be here live. We're going to do the same thing we did last year. Live for round 1. We will immediately recap round 1 right after round 1. So that you have it, if you're a listener, you'll have it Friday morning for your commute. But we'll recap it pick by pick Thursday night right after. We'll do the same thing on Friday, live for rounds 2 and 3. Recap right after on Friday. And then Saturday, we'll be in studio and just ready to go. When the big news breaks, we'll be breaking it. We'll be talking about it.
Yep. More of a news reaction day on Saturday.
Yeah, so we won't be live all day Saturday. That's it's not always the best viewing experience, I don't think. But we'll hit on the big stories, and we'll start our recaps. We'll go division by division, Sunday through Wednesday, and then we'll try to get some guests. Some of the guests that we have pre-draft are so booked and swamped, we won't be able to get them. Maybe we'll get them after the draft, then we'll get their recap thoughts rather than their preview thoughts.
Yep. And
so we'll get
up,
to that.
We'll have everybody's favorite prospect as well.
Oh,
getting those videos coming in.
Keep an eye out for that video. So that's
spend the next 2 days reminding people.
Yeah. Keep bugging people. We'll get them all in. All right. Anything else we got to cover here?
What would you, Masters Sunday? Your take?
Good for Rory. Let me ask you this. Is Rory better than LeBron now?
You joked about that, and then I saw an account actually basically do that. It wasn't LeBron. I think it was Jordan. But it was like, is Rory's back-to-back more impressive than Jordan's first three-peat or something? I'm like, what?
Got to do it. You got to compare it. I'll tell you what, the Masters nap, though, I think I was 10 minutes into my nap before Kelly started being like, where are you? Something was good. She needed me for something. So the nap is just inevitable. I sit down and my body's just like, you should be resting to the birds chirping and Jim Nance's dulcet tones.
Jim Nance was born for the Masters.
He was.
He's the only person, he already sounds like just a golf commentator, the way he talks about everything, even when he's doing NFL games, which doesn't feel like an ideal match. But then you pair that with the pretension of the Masters, right? and it just goes perfectly. Like, he's the guy that can unironically call people patrons and have it not sound weird. He can call, like, the ridiculous names that every hole has, that it's like the 15th or whatever. He can make every one of those names sound like that makes sense.
It's perfect for it.
It's where he belongs. He should be the Masters.
People are complaining about the chorus and the. I like Scotty, so I'm always rooting. Kids are always
We were
rooting
like,
for Scotty. And
if
everything.
Scheffler, because he went on a run, right?
Yeah.
And it's like Rory's just waiting for a chance to choke this away.
Yeah.
Almost did it earlier in the day and then rebounded and came back and had it kind of locked up. But then you're like, two things. Number one, Scheffler misses that putt, wherever that was, on the 17th or the 18th, like by like an inch. If that drops, number one, based off the way everything happened after that, it would have meant they were going to a
been
playoff,
tied.
right?
Yeah.
Now, you can't really do that because who knows how Rory would have played it differently had that putt dropped. But anyway, so we were potentially like an inch away from this actually going to a playoff. And had that happened, you're going to assume that Scheffler beats Rory in a playoff. And then two, he did that thing where it's like all you need to do is to bogey the last hole and you win. Why is the driver even coming out of your
right
bag?
into the woods.
7-iron that thing all the way up the last hole. Like what? Why is
Well, that's why you say he would have played it differently. He was up 2 on the and he still didn't hit the fairway.
But this is like when Jean Van de Velde did that insanity at the British Open way back when, where he got in the water and stuff. And it's like, if he had he could have taken a pitching wedge all the way up that last hole and won the tournament. And instead he like shanked it in the water, then went into the water, tried to shank it out of the water, went even like, it was like the worst possible nightmare. And you're like, if you just pick any iron out of your bag and just, I'm only using this until I get to the green, you win the tournament. And yet Rory's out here like, nah, give me the big dog. That's gone well this week so far. It's just, I mean, okay, this is why they're like insane sportsmen, that level of confidence is inbuilt, but to me it's still crazy. Again, conservative old man Sam with the risk aversion. I'm give me the 7-iron.
You've completely changed.
Give me the 7-iron until I reach the green and then give me the putter.
Meanwhile, you just flew to New York to grab a car sight unseen.
I did.
From 1965.
Yeah.
So maybe there is some.
Turns out it was probably a stupid idea.
Yeah. You made it home, though. It's nice.
Eventually, yeah. My plan was I flew out on Thursday, and then the plan was to like get the sale done, take off, drive a couple of hours, because it's like a 10.5-hour drive or something from that part of New York. And then, so I, get a couple hours under my belt and then only have 8 hours or whatever on the Friday. So when I got there, all was good. As part of the sale, the guy was like having a couple of paint flaws taken care of. He was actually a really good guy, and I have no problems with that guy. When he'd show me the car and stuff, like it started up on the button, right? It's just like fired up. I'm like, great. And then when we got there, he was like, they must have like left the light on or something because the car was struggling to start. It's drained the battery. But he was like, but it's a pretty new battery. So we ended up going around the corner to AutoZone or whatever, get a replacement battery, which was under warranty. So it's got like a brand new battery in it right now. Still wasn't loving starting. Like, whatever. So I take off, drive a couple of hours, and then I'm now in the middle of Pennsylvania somewhere to a place I've never heard of. And there was like, it's one of those places, there's like 4 random lodgings, right? I pull up at True by Hilton or whatever. I'm like, have you got any rooms? Nope. Booked up. What? So then you go to the next place, and this is some like Suites by whatever, a place I'd never heard of. It was an absolute dive. It was a kip. And when I got back in the car to go from True to this place, again, didn't really love starting. I'm like, uh-oh. So I'm like, all right, go to bed, pack it up, go to sleep. Next morning, I'm like, up, crack of dawn. I'm like, I'm going to be in the car and away at 6:30 in the morning. Get to the car, put all the stuff in. It's cold. I'm like, nothing. Just dead. Doesn't even turn over. Just nothing. So I'm like, oh, man, something must be completely pulling power from this to destroy a battery overnight. But it had power. Like lights came on and stuff. So I'm like, so the battery's not dead, but I'm just getting nothing.
Yeah.
So I end up calling out I think I need a jump. So I call out the tow people from the insurance. Guy rocks up and he's like, it's not doing anything off the battery pack either. I think your starter motor's dead. So I'm like, well, now that you say it, that actually kind of makes sense. It would explain why it was struggling yesterday, and now it's just totally dead. So then they're like, this is over my insurance. They're like, we could tow you the whole way. I'm like, I'm going to Cincinnati. That's like 8 hours away. I'm like, well, we could do it. They calculate this out, And the guy gets on the phone to me and he's like, so your insurance says it's going to be $4,500 out of pocket to trailer this to Cincinnati. They're like, but we would do you a break. We do it for $3,500.
What
I'm
a
like,
deal.
okay, is there a way we could just change the starter motor instead? They're like, yeah, we could do that. I'm like, well, yeah, we'll do that then. I'm not.
For under $3,500 maybe?
Because the guy was like, I don't know when we'd be able to do that. And they're like, yeah, it would take us a couple hours to get the motor in, but then we could do it and have you on the road. I'm like, yeah, let's do that instead of the $3,500 trailer to Cincinnati. So then they trailer me to we're in the absolute back arse of nowhere in rural Pennsylvania, right?
Monson out in the middle of nowhere.
Right. So I'm now just sitting in this like rural workshop while they wait for a starter motor to arrive and then they can work on the thing. Now, again, and this place did not look like the most salubrious of workshops in the world, but actually the dude that was working on it was absolutely sound and he loved old cars and stuff. So he was like, so I think your diff fluid probably needs to be changed as well. I found a leak in your coolant system, which he traced to the heat transfer thing, which someone had it was like a chromed one, right? And someone had sanded it down or shaved it down or something, but it was like wonky. So the gasket was failing. So he was like, so we'll get you a new one of those. It won't be chrome, but it'll work, right? And then I can refill your cooling system. And actually that day ended up being hot, so it needed it. So he did the diff fluid, the cooling system. We fixed the starter motor, and then I got on the road at lunchtime with 8 hours plus to drive.
Jeez.
When I get somewhere near Cincinnati, it starts to piss rain. And I'm like, it's a classic car. I'm sure the wipers will suck. How bad do they suck? Turn them on. Literally don't touch the glass. No. Okay, so this is actually in the rain, it's okay. The problem actually manifests when the rain finishes and dirty spray is just coming off the ground.
Oh, yeah.
Because at some point, that becomes a problem that needs to be addressed, right? And I'm also now so scared of the starter motor just not working that I can't risk turning the engine off anytime I pull over. So when I'm pulling in for gas, I'm leaving the car running. When I pulled over one time in the dark when it got so bad to use the squeegee thing at the gas thing and just do the windscreen. But I can't turn the engine off because I can't promise it'll start again. And I'm not calling out again in the middle. So eventually get back in my house at 10:30 p.m. on Friday night. I also didn't really eat because I couldn't pull in and stop the car and go get food. So I was basically starving to death. I've rarely been as drained as I was at that point. But I now have, it's outside here, the 65 Mustang.
Parked right near the 26 minivan.
It started up great this morning, so it's working. Now, that being said, at the end of this thing, I run through. I pulled it out into a spreadsheet yesterday. I'm like, okay, ideally speaking, what would I need to fix in this car for it to be an absolute no problems, daily driver, never have to think about it again? And all of the things that it's like 10 grand worth of work. Probably want to upgrade the system to fuel injection, maybe upgrade the rear brakes to discs. The front brakes have already been done. I think you want AC in it at some point for the summer over here. Few bits and pieces, trim, make the wipers work, all that kind of crap. But it's probably 10 grand. So on the one hand, I got a 65 Mustang. It looks awesome. On the other hand, if I want to make it really good, it probably costs 10 grand to make that happen. I don't know what
you could follow bits and pieces of Sam's journey on his Twitter/X account.
Well, you can certainly follow the updates. Yeah, it was
some of the updates.
Here's my car, and then it was here's my car in a trailer, and then it was wow. The audio actually already.
That's why all of a sudden you roll in here on a Monday morning. You're conservative about everything,
right?
Draft related.
The Mohal says upgrade the stereo to Bluetooth. It already has that, so it's got a few things that have been done to it. It's had upgrades. It's not like a stock 65, but it has some things that definitely would want to be upgraded.
Nice.
I'm sure we could throw a picture of it up there somewhere. Have you got that, Hagel?
I'm glad you made it home at least.
The picture of the Mustang. Could you throw it up there? It's in the chat somewhere, right? Ideally, not the one on the trailer, but you could put that up there as well.
You were giving us these happy updates, and then it's
it was going so well. It's and I was thinking because again, it had kind of struggled. I'm like maybe because it was missing a headlight, and that was one of the reasons I didn't go that far on Thursday night. I'm like, once it gets dark, I'm running on one headlight. I'm probably going to pull over, and then I'll go fix that in an AutoZone or whatever. But I was wondering if the headlight had blown a circuit and that was draining the battery or whatever. I thought something was draining the battery. Yeah. So I was kind of expecting on Friday morning to maybe have some trouble starting it, but I wasn't expecting death. Like nothing. There we go.
There it is. Look
There
at
it
that
is.
thing. Could you come up to? We go to the drag strip up in Norwalk.
Yeah. You think
get a nice engine in
the
there.
thing to help the reliability of this thing is thrown on a drag strip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Upgrade that thing. Get your racing up there. Speaking of throwing thousands at
Yeah. Speaking of burning money.
Oh well, it sounds like fun.
It's certainly, yeah. It's a cool car. I also remember there was that time where you were questioning it. I'm like, no, don't worry, you'll fit in this much better than you fit in the Camaro.
Probably not.
I would change my opinion on that, having sat in it myself. Now maybe
We got to drive it to Indy every year.
problem is the seats aren't adjustable. They're like bolted into the ground, and I want more legroom on the driver's side, so I can only imagine that the passenger side's not going to be great.
That's a problem. Well, I don't have that problem in the 26 Odyssey.
So Scout, my daughter, who's about to be 13, I had showed her the pictures of this car before we went and got it. She's like, it's awful. I hate it. It's disgusting. I hate everything about this car. And I was like, this is a cool car. Like, objectively, kids would...
She wouldn't. Why would you think it was cool?
It's a cool car, even for kids. She started sending me, like, pictures and videos of cars, right? And it turns out that her dream car right now is basically like it's Philip Rivers minivan. You know, the thing where he had in the back of like a giant TV and stuff? Hers is some like tricked out, Honda Odyssey.
Oh, yeah, kids just want to sit back and watch TV,
right,
of course.
It's her dream
Makes
car.
sense.
So she's like, and then when I got it back, she's like, yeah, this is still horrible. Like, you're never taking me anywhere in this car. I'm like, well, guess again, kid, because we're going out in it.
That's what we're doing.
Right. Like, I'm driving you to soccer. We're driving in this car. So that's what's happening.
Love it.
But yeah, her dream car apparently is basically like a tricked out minivan where she just gets to chill in the back in luxury leather seats and watch a TV.
Got the right idea.
I mean, I have some sympathy with that, having driven 11 hours in a 65 Mustang.
Well, I'm glad you made it back. Sounds like a good experience. And now you're conservative on mock draft.
Now I've
Mondays.
become, petrified by risk, having experienced it. It also, by the way, I was coming out of a gas petrol station. I almost said I was coming out of a gas station. Now that I'm American-ish, and it's what I think a lot of classic cars are like this. Maybe it's a carburetor thing. Maybe it's just a car built in the '60s. But like sometimes they don't really like idling, and they'll just stalled. Like for when you drive a manual now, everyone always concerned about stalling, but it's usually your fault, right? Like you tried to go off the clutch without putting gas in it. It's your own fault. Like you screwing it up. Sometimes though, the classic car, you didn't do anything wrong. It just decided it wasn't going to idle and it's just going to turn off, right? So on the way out of a gas station, trying to get back on the interstate, I went down to the thing. You stop sign, hang a right, get onto the interstate, hung a right, foot on the clutch, put it into first, and it just went, nope, turned off. I'm like, uh-oh, will it start again? And thankfully it did, because I was like thinking, oh, God, I'm going to
This is going to be your life.
I'm going to have to bump start a 60s Mustang down this hill. That's not going to be fun.
Every time you drive this thing.
But then on the way, same thing on the way in this morning. Again, everything was going great. It routed me through the city, and then some asshole was doing construction on a building and was deciding to take up the entire right-hand lane by leaning a cone out like a foot and a half too far. So 2 lanes had to go into one, city traffic at rush hour. I'm like, please don't stall here. That would be very, very bad. It didn't, thankfully. But anyway, these are all reasons why I'm thinking of upgrading to fuel injection where I don't have to think about that.
Yeah, good idea. Well, it's a good story, man.
Thank you.
Glad.
So I have a Zoom thing that I need to do at noon. But if we got 7 minutes, I could take you down and we'll show you. Start it up and you can, Tim Allen style. Tool man.
We got to go now.
We got to do it now. We got to get out here now.
We got to go. All right, that's it for us today. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. We'll see you again Wednesday. More Check the Mic.